O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show. This.
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, the bunkers. Got to have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help. The Viewpoint Statement. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, ready to rock and roll, baby. We are coming to you live from the MGM Grand here in Las Vegas. We're getting ready for a little Canelo and Charlo tomorrow night. It's going to be one hell of a card. I'm getting ready for a little U2 action tonight at the Sphere. Going to see the opening night. Sean Stanley, what are you going to do? Relax? There you go. He's going to rest his eyes, is what he says. It's kind of what I did last night. I ended up in bed at 11, dude. 11 in the morning. Is that lunch over there, bro? I think that's lunch. You should go steal a couple boxes for us. Just, I'm just saying. I won't get mad if you steal a box for me. No, I think you can go right now. I mean, But anyway, we are out here. We're having some fun. I went to the U2 UV experience yesterday at the Venetian. hotel, which I'm going to go back to this afternoon. They've got some U2 event going on between 4 and 6 in the afternoon. Obviously, that's 7 to 9 for you guys, right? 4 to 6, right? So yeah, 4 to 6, and then later on we'll be walking over to the show at the Sphere. So we're gonna have some fun. There's a lot of things to talk about, a lot of people to talk to. The great Jim Lampley is going to join us. We're going to talk to Anthony Chang about that entire mess with that little wussy Damian Lillard. We're going to talk to Michelle Kaufman and get into a little Inter Miami and Messi, and boy, them ticket presses. David Furones is going to join us to talk a little Miami Dolphins football as they get ready to take on the Bills on Sunday. And remember, we have your pre- and post-game show right here on the platform. We'll be doing it from Vegas. We'll be at a Dolphins bar in Las Vegas. It's called Tommy Rockers, right off of the Strip. So we'll be there on Sunday, starting off at 8 a.m. to do the pregame show and get you guys ready for that. Safadine is also going to join us at 2 o'clock. So you've got Anthony at noon, at 12:30, Michelle Kaufman at 1, David Furones at 1:30, and Safadine will be at 2 o'clock. And I think we're going to get Al Bernstein right after that. So we got a loaded program. We got a ton of things to talk about. Man, they actually found the person to blame for Tupac's murder here in Vegas. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis was arrested for the 96 murder of Tupac. He and, I guess, his uncle, who is no longer with us, were involved in the crime, and they were arrested, or he was arrested. 27 years. That's pretty good police work, I got to say. 27 years, man. What the hell? I just wish if the next time I get a speeding ticket or some shit like that, can you wait 27 years to come for the court date for that? Just saying. We're going to treat things like that. I don't mind if you want to wait 27 years to collect. I'm good with that. If you want to do that, we can work it out that way. Anyway, Dolphins and Bills. Oh, yesterday, we told you to take the Lions, correct? Well, there you go, baby. What do they have? Turkey. Say that again. Turkey and Swiss. Italian. I'll take the Southwest chicken wrap. I just hope it doesn't have any mayo. Anyway, so we'll see. What else do we have? Let's see. So we told you to take Detroit yesterday, and they beat Green Bay 34-20. That game was over by the start of the second quarter. That thing was over. Come on, who are we kidding here? You know what I'm saying? That was pretty much done. So Man Campbell ends up picking up a couple of bucks for yours truly. So yesterday I cashed in my Dolphin ticket from last year. Then I made several other bets, which we took Detroit, and we won. Whether it was 2 or 3 points, did it really matter? Cincinnati, we took them 2.5, minus 2.5 against Tennessee. We took the Pats plus 6.5 at Dallas. I don't trust Dallas. I don't think the Pats are going to win, but I can see them, because of Belichick, I can see them defensively making it harder. And watching Dallas choke like dogs last week, which has nothing to do with losing the DB, which I know he's a phenomenal player, but that one player should not, and you're not supposed to lose against that team. So that's where I just, I can never trust the Cowboys. I can never trust them. So, I don't have any respect for the Pats in itself. I don't think they're going to go anywhere, but they're going to be a tough out is what they're going to be, because they're always a good defense. I don't respect their offense, but now that you don't got Diggs, well, then your passing defense is going to be a little weaker. So I can see them keeping it close enough within those points. And then the Chiefs against the Jets. I mean, that's they'll easily win by 10, bro. They got Chris Jones back, and they ended up winning, and now he's back for a couple weeks of practice now. That defense will get better. Zach Wilson is a nothing. He's done. He's cooked. He's history. He should have never been the draft pick. Think about all the stuff that's gone on the last couple of days. Okay? And this affects us in Dolphin Nation, right? And especially on this show, because I had to fight all this bull crap. Okay? First of all, we broke the news. We told you a couple years ago that Flo did not want Tua in the draft. And we told you there was another quarterback that he wanted, right? And the only problem was I was sworn to secrecy and I couldn't tell you the name until Omar was the first one to finally unearth it, and it was Jordan Love. So last night, you're watching Jordan Love, who, by the way, is the second worst passer in the NFL. Zach Wilson is one. He's number 2 in completion percentage. And you saw some of it yesterday, 23 of 36. It was terrible early on. He just picked up a lot of garbage time later on in the game. 246, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. But think about this. Brian Flores didn't want Tua. He wanted Jordan Love. Brian Flores wanted Deshaun Watson. How's that gone so far? After everything. Oh, by the way, Deshaun Watson is questionable with a shoulder injury. But, I mean, a little massage is going to fix that for him, right? I mean, he's got plenty of people for massages, right? So he should be fine. Should be fine. A little massage, a little rub in the dub, and there you go. You're done. No, but seriously, Jordan Love. And the same idiot wanted to trade for Deshaun Watson while sabotaging Tua the entire time. Oh, by the way, just out of curiosity, is your friend still telling you Flo was a great coach and they shouldn't have fired him and that Chris Greer should have been fired? Just wondering. Did you forget about that? You might want to remind that friend of yours. And by the way, that friend of yours, has he admitted that he's a freaking idiot? Just saying. Because if you thought Flo shouldn't have gotten fired and you wanted Chris Greer, well, you're kind of a moron. Just wondering. Because I'm laughing, I'm watching this Watson disaster. We had a moron that was trying to force the team to trade for him. The same moron wanted to draft Jordan Love, was fighting the front office on draft week and in the war room, and he didn't want anything to do with Tua, and after they drafted Tua, he made sure he didn't want anything to do with Tua and sabotaged the kid as much as possible. I'm just wondering, do you have any of your friends out there that are still saying that? I think somebody gave me a fun fact that I did not realize overall. Let me see something here that somebody sent to me that I thought was kind of interesting with Brian Flores. Let's see. Yes, the guy that his team has given up the 5th most yards, and by the way, the worst takeaway on turnovers in the entire NFL. That's Brian Flores. So, because he's a defensive genius. He was born to do this. Ask him, he'll tell you. He was born to do this shit. That's Brian Flores. So I'm just wondering, is your friend still? Make sure you go find your friend today. Call him, troll him, send him a text. Hey, by the way, do you still think Brian Flores is this great coach that shouldn't have been fired? Because I remember when you used to say that. Brian Flores should have never gotten fired. Just wondering. Where are those people? Do they have balls? Do they come forward and say, "Hey, by the way, I thought it was Brian Flores that should have stayed and not Chris Greer." Just wondering. After all of this, because the examples are refreshing you every single week. It gets refreshed. How good the team is, how explosive the offense is, how dominant the quarterback is playing right now, how much better he is than most of the entire league as it is, how the other mistakes that they could have made, like keeping Flo, drafting Love, trading for Watson, all those stupid. Oh, Brady would have been another stupid ass move. Aaron Rodgers, another stupid ass move. You guys want to bring up any more stupid ass moves? Because I can do this because I fought all of them and said, no, I'm staying with Tua all the way. You drafted him, that's it, I'm done. I listen, his injury history scared the crap out of me too. But you drafted him. Okay, good. Then I'm done. That's it. I'm going to support the kid. Plus, I know he can play. I know he's got injury history, but he can play. And that's one thing that I never wavered on with all of that. We can all be nervous about his injury history, But as I've told you in the last couple of years, he's fixed that by doing what he's doing the last couple of weeks. Make a quick decision. Holding on to the football makes no sense. Yesterday, Jordan Love took 5 sacks. I want to say 3 of them were his fault, if not at least 2, where he just held on to the ball too long, even though they have injuries. And by the way, if you know that Bakhtiari and all these guys are injured, why would you hold on to the football? And that's where I love the people that tell you, oh, well, no, you put another quarterback in there, he'll do the same thing. No, he won't. Because you won't read, decipher, and deliver accurately, consistently, down in and down out like he does. Because that's special. Only special players can do that kind of stuff. And Jordan Love is not a special player. When the draft was coming back in those days, obviously, I didn't have a problem with Jordan Love. I just had a problem with taking Jordan Love early. I said, you have to take him either late first round or early second or somewhere in the second because he's a project. Still raw. He's got all the ability, but he's super raw. You know what I mean? Whereas Tua was not raw. Tua just had the injury history. That's it. But you knew he could. Well, those of us that were smart enough, we knew he could play. But it's funny, all these examples, the Jordan Love game is going on. Why do you think I bet on Detroit? Because I knew it was easy money, bro. I get it. It's hard to count on Detroit, but man, listen, if a guy like me can admit, I thought, hey, man, Campbell's a little bit overrated here, raw coach. And I'm telling you, he's proven me wrong. So wrong that I'll bet on him. I'll bet on Detroit, which how many times do you do that in life? You don't bet on Detroit, but you can now. Certain situations, this was one of them yesterday that was just a gift. That was a gift right there. That game last night. But it just keeps reminding you that it was the right decision to stick with Tua and not give in to the owners and to what Flo wanted, because it was never Chris Greer Chris Greer didn't want Brady, he didn't want Rodgers, he didn't want Watson, he didn't want Love. That's all the other people. Okay, I think Greer's kind of proven that he wanted to stick with Tua, the way he's built everything, and to have a general manager that can find a quarterback and a head coach. That's not easy, ladies and gentlemen. That is not easy, but it's really cool to see that that the decision was a good one, was a great one, and it's paid off in a big time way. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button while you're watching. Por favor. We got already 167 right now on the chat board. Appreciate all of you out there. Smash. Come on, baby. Come on, let's go. Smash it. Ray says, enjoy the U2 show. In closing, hey, Flo, you blow. The worst, how he treated Tua. Yeah. No, he treated Tua like shit, dude. He's a bad person, bro. Jamie Zorria in the house out in San Jose. And reminding everybody to smash it. It's interesting how Tua has changed my perception on how bad to average most QBs are in the NFL. So inconsistent. Why do you think? You think it's a joke when I tell you, and this is not something I've said in the weeks. I've said this, you've been with me for a while, over the last couple of years. When I see a quarterback that is accurate, I get sexually aroused. How about that? I don't give a shit if the guy's 6'6". I don't care if he runs like the wind. I don't care if he can throw it out of the goddamn stadium. That's not impressive, dude. Achilles Smith could do that. And so can Jeff George, except for a run, but he can throw it out of the stadium. Do I want any of them quarterbacking my team? No. Do I want Ryan Tannehill who can run and throw quarterbacking my team? No. But when I see a guy that is deadly accurate, constantly, ball placement, anticipatory skills, why do you think I told you 2 years ago? That Tua kid reminds me a lot of Joe Montana. While everybody's trashing him and trying to trade for everybody else, I'm the idiot saying, hey, and now Boomer Esiason and everybody else, hey, kind of looks like Joe Montana. you know, I don't care about your athleticism, dude. Drew Brees wasn't athletic. Warren Moon wasn't athletic. And Lamar Jackson can't hold Warren Moon's jockstrap, bro. And Lamar runs like the wind. He can't pass like Moon. That's why he doesn't win in the playoffs. Moon was a pocket passer. Period. Accurate pocket passer. So to me, that's the whole thing with all of this. Too much. And it's beautiful to just see all the mistakes. You could have brought in Brady broken down. You could have brought in Rodgers for a year, and he breaks his Achilles. Now the Jets have got to carry his ass now for another year. And you're hopeful next year that a 40-year-old with a repaired Achilles is going to save your franchise? Give me a break, dude. You're going to fall way behind the Dolphins, and the rest of your talent's going to get older, and then you're going to lose out on your window again because the Jets lost out on a window years back with Mark Sanchez, who cannot play. I just love the fact that all of this has just come full circle on a consistent basis. And this gentleman is right. When you start looking around the NFL, you compare passers. I don't care about your athleticism. None of that matters to me whatsoever. Think Dodgers Blue. Giovanni's in. Isaiah's in. Daniel Barry is in. Chad. Samuel W. Nope, can't. It has to be noon. It has to be noon because we're locked in at 12:30 and 1. Yeah. Anyway, about 50 hours until the crying starts in Buffalo, says Samuel. John Padilla, Karoon, Jesus, what is it? Manriquez. Okay. Never heard of that name. See Finn's Nation in Vegas in February. Oh, you'll see us in February. Okay. We'll be back here. We got an Airbnb already for Vegas for the Super Bowl. So we are set, baby. All set. Stetson O is in. D. Laz says, have you read or heard the Chris Hayes article? Yes, I have. Let me address that. Okay. Let me address the Chris Haynes article. All Chris Haynes did for me was piss me off more about Damian Lillard. Okay, because according to Chris Haynes, that is, Blazers did not engage with the Heat since the summer league. They tried to set up a meeting there, and it kind of didn't come to fruition and all that kind of stuff, and they kind of tuned out the Heat. The Blazers also didn't talk to Lillard from the beginning of September on. Him and his agent, they put him out because they thought that they would get in the way of a trade. When Lillard found out that he wasn't going to get traded to Miami, he said, well, if I don't get traded to Miami, I want to stay here in Portland. So this guy, Joe Cronin, had the balls to tell him, no, we don't want you here anymore. So here's where I think Damian Lillard is the biggest wussy I have ever met in my effing life, bro. He's a little bitch, dude. This whole thing, I don't want to cause any waves, I don't this and that, all that. Well, then this is what happens, bro. You let the Blazers push you around for 11 years, and then on the way out, you let Joe Cronin put a foot right in your ass and send you to Milwaukee. Now, the good thing is at least you have an opportunity to win a title there. That's the cool part about it. But if you only wanted Miami or Miami or Portland, and the guy sends you to Milwaukee, bro, you're a little bitch. It's amazing to me, excuse my French, how fucking pathetic Damian Lillard is, bro. I've explained to you my situation when I was at QAM and I wanted to get the hell out. And I made sure I got the hell out. I let them think they fired me. Okay? But I made sure they fired me because I wanted to get out of my non-compete because it was only 1 month. If I quit, I'm locked in as long as my contract, which had a year left. So I didn't want to do anything like that. So I bided my time, waited, and said, all right, I'll wait for the right opportunity. I'll drop what I need to drop, and I'm out. And now I've controlled my destiny for 3 years. And I'm here in QAM isn't, by the way. So, whatever. It is what it is. But that's because I'm the guy that I don't get pushed around. I just don't. In fact, Sean, you got the mic there? Sean was with me at a place. Do you remember when that clown was trying to tell us what he's doing? I'm telling him, bro, this is the cheapest outfit I've ever seen run in my life.
Yes, I remember.
To the owner's face. Do you know why? Because that guy was a lying piece of shit. I'd rather knock him out, actually. But I don't need that kind of trouble. You know what I mean? There's nothing would make me happier than to beat the crap out of that guy. I still have the anger to beat the crap out of him. If I see him in person, I may do it one day. But anyways, bottom line is I wasn't going to take anything from that schmuck who had no talent, clearly no money, complete putz. Him and his entire family, dog shit. So, but I wasn't going to take crap from him, and I don't take crap from anybody, dude. And I've been like that in radio my entire life. Because I know what I can do. So I know I can be productive, but I'm not going to stick around while you aren't doing your end. And so for me, I don't care about Joe Cronin anymore. Now, I hope he gets in trouble because Damian Lillard, the little bitch, finally revealed that they made him sit out the final 10 games so they can get a better draft pick. The NBA should actually strip him of several first-rounders for that. Not one, several should be stripped from Joe Cronin. If that proves to be true, then you cheated, bro. And you need to get now again. I don't have anything against Joe Cronin. Played his cards the way he wants to play them, dude. My problem with all of this is from the beginning has been that Damian Lillard has no balls, bro. And that's my problem with this. He didn't stand up for himself. And I hate that. I can't stand that because that's not who I am. And I will not be pushed around by anybody. I don't care who you are, dude. And apparently this guy, wuss, bro. Wuss. That's all I have to say about I have no respect for him as a man at all, dude. I have lost complete respect for. He's just a basketball player. That's it. De hombre no tiene nada. Let's get that shit straight. He ain't a man in my book. Men don't act like that. Men don't get pushed around and walked all over like that, like Damian Lillard. Oh, if I can't get traded to Miami, I want to stay here in Portland. No, we don't want you here. What? What? That's where I would have said, Joe, now we're going to raise the hell now. Now we're going to throw you under the bus. Now we're going to talk about how you made me hold out for the last 10 games so you can get a better draft pick. We're doing that right now on ESPN. And let's see what Joe Cronin does before the trade. You didn't use any leverage, bro. That's my problem with Damian Lillard. You had all the leverage here. You're the only one with leverage here. And, bro, you're a complete and total wussy, bro. It's disgusting, bro. It is disgusting how pathetic Damian Lillard is. It really is shameful, embarrassing, just, oh my God. It's just gross. You have no guts, no balls, no nothing, dude. Unless it's a 24-second clock. But when it comes to life, man, I lost all respect for Damian Lillard. All respect for that guy. And again, it's not a Heat thing. I'm not blaming Riley. And some of you that were blaming Riley, now that you see the whole story, what do you got to say now? You now admit that you're wrong, right? Okay? This is all on Lillard, dude. All on Lillard. He's coming now? Okay. All right. So I hope that answers your question, but zero respect for that guy, dude. Zero. What a complete punk. Jose Lucas, need Tua to steamroll the Bills to ease this pain of Dame going to Milwaukee. Miami remains a football team, a football town. Well, it's always been a football town. It's just that the Heat dominate the football town. And that's what that's the truth, okay? South Florida will always be a football town, no matter how many championships the Heat wins or Panthers or Marlins or Inter. They can all win championships and cups and all that stuff, and it'll always be a Dolphins and a Canes town, always. But right now, the Heat dominate, and that's always what it's been for 25 years. Jose Lucas, thank you for the love on the super chat. Need Tua to steamroll the Bills to ease the pain. Thank you. And I don't know if it'll ease your pain, but you know, it'll. Is it as painful now? Because it's really not the Heat's fault. You can't control what a human being is, and we didn't know what kind of a wussy Damian Lillard was. You know what I'm saying? Dame could have easily set up an interview, exposed Cronin for all the lies he said. Dame did nothing. He wanted to be nice man with a good image, which, bro, nice doesn't pay off. Look at LeBron James. He signs a 1-year contract on teams now, or 2-year. And why? Because he keeps the pressure. Oh, you want to keep my ass here? Well, you better keep trading and buying guys and putting them around. You can't be nice. If you're nice, you end up in Cleveland with a shitty owner and you never win anything. So you got to leave. Nice doesn't pay off, dude. That's not good business. Nice, you get run over in business, unfortunately. That time? Yeah, I can't. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, we'll be gone by then, unfortunately. 3:20? Oh, I don't know yet. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that'll be tough. Oh, did it ever occur to you that maybe he just changed his mind when the opportunity to? No, dude, didn't you? Did you read the story, Steve? He told him Miami or back to Portland. They're the ones that said, no, we don't want you back. And they're the ones that then put him out to Milwaukee. It's pretty simple, Steve. He said Miami or I want to stay in Portland. That's what the story is from Chris Haynes. He didn't want to go. He didn't even want to go to Milwaukee. But now he's going to Milwaukee because they sent him there because he's a good boy. He does what he's told. That's all. He's a good boy. That's all. Dame the good boy Lillard. That's all. He wants to be a nice little boy. Pat him on the head when you see Dame Lillard. Nice boy. You're such a nice boy. Maybe he'll grow his hair out and we can cut it in a bowl and everything for him. We'll do that. Maybe we'll give him like a helicopter hat. Right? He want to be a nice boy. So it has nothing. I see what happened, dude. Had nothing to do with that. He wanted to come to Miami or stay in Portland. It's terrible. Afternoon. No, the only leverage I see Dame would have had is to threaten to retire if not traded in Miami. Cronin was never trading him here. Well, that's where the problem, see, Troy, where you're missing out on is that Dame did not make it personal. And so Cronin knew that he was dealing with a wuss. So it's like watching a dude that is 6'5" fighting a guy that's 5'5". So the guy at 6'5" is kind of laughing at the guy that's 5'5". He's holding him on his head, and the guy's swinging at him, and he can't reach him because he's 5'5". And the guy at 6'5" is so much taller that he's holding down he's far away from him, and he can't hit him. And he's laughing because he can't get hurt by the guy that's 5'5". And that's Joe Cronin and Damian Lillard. Joe Cronin knew that he could boss him around, that he can bully him, and then Damian Lillard would be the little bitch and would take it. That's it. It's pretty simple. Do you push LeBron James around? No, you don't. James Harden is a complete jerk, and he's found his way in and out of different cities, and he goes to where he wants to go eventually. This time around, maybe finally, because he's too old, maybe he ran out of time now. But everybody else gets to go where they want to go, dude. And that's because they create the stink. Joe Cronin knew he was dealing with a guy that had no guts whatsoever. Not a guy that was going to make a stink. And that's it. Trust me. If you expose him, that story, hey, listen, no, I want to go to Miami. I'm tired of playing for this organization and that guy. That guy said he was going to build a team around me. And you know what he said? He told me to hold out for 10 games. I wasn't injured. Commissioner, you listening? I wasn't injured. He told me to sit out those 10 days so he can get a better lottery position, so he can trade that pick for a veteran. And guess what he did? He drafted a young guy because he's building for the future. Why didn't he have that press conference? Because the NBA investigates right there and then. At that point, they're going to do it now. Now it's going to happen. But you had to do it before, because then Joe doesn't want it out. And you had to then say, Milwaukee, I'm not coming to you. Either he trades me to Miami or I'm not playing for anybody. And you had to stick to your guns. Damian Lillard has no guts, bro. It's super simple. It's easy to read. He's soft. Somehow or another, I guess in basketball, it never hurts, I guess, or whatever. So you can play freely and aggressive or whatever. But in life, he certainly isn't aggressive. I blame him. I have stuck to my guns from the get-go. I read this thing perfectly. This was all on Damian Lillard. He could have made every change possible. Chose not to, bro. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But hey, listen, maybe he'll get his title anyway. I feel like they try to take one back for team leverage because over the last decade, players have held all the leverage for real to the Bucks doing what they wanted and not what he wanted. No, he never forced them to do what he wanted. That's the problem, Chad. So that's he just asked. Hey, it's like Damian Lillard is like you and I when we were kids. Mom, Dad, can I have that Crunch Bar, Snickers? No. Okay. That's it. That's all. He asked. He didn't demand. He didn't force. He didn't coerce. He didn't bribe. He didn't blackmail. And you got the dirt, bro. Now Chris Haynes releases. Chris Haynes is the one that released the news that he was forced to sit out for 10 games. Damian Lillard didn't have the guts to say it himself. I would have held a press conference if I was Damian Lillard. Okay, months ago. I would have held a press conference and I would have said, I am tired of dealing with Joe Cronin. I am tired of dealing with the Portland Trailblazers. This has nothing to do with their fans. The fans have been great. This has nothing to do with the players. I'm tired of dealing with this organization. They have lied to me for 11 years. They've never been able to build a winner. And this year, on top of everything, that GM made me sit out the final 10 games when I was healthy because he wanted a better lottery pick. And he told me that better lottery pick was to trade for a veteran. And guess what he did? He drafted a young guy that was going to replace me. I am done with this place. I will not play for anyone but the Miami Heat. So, ownership, Joe Cronin, figure it out. It ends here. And guess what? All hell would have broken loose. Joe Cronin would have been investigated. He would have been fined, might be fired before he could have even made this trade. And then the new person comes in, has to then accommodate him. No balls, man. No balls. Zero balls. Zero balls. I have no respect for that guy as a man. He's a hell of a basketball player. But I really want to use the P word, not the W. Seriously. God bless. That guy is a complete P word. Holy crap. I've never met a bigger wuss in the history of the NBA than that guy. That's how embarrassing I think. That's how pathetic I think that guy is. Seriously, dude. Like I can't even look at him. I couldn't be in the same room with the guy. I'd look at him and go, dude, you're pathetic. That's what I would tell him. You're pathetic. I can't even be in the same room with you. That's what I would tell Dame Lillard. You're about the most gutless man I've ever met in my life, dude. Maybe it's Nick Saban's wife hating Miami. Maybe Dillard's wife is scared of all the nightclubs. And no, it has nothing to do with that, bro. Enough already. Stop making stuff up. Damian Lillard this was all on him. Not on Joe Cronin, certainly not on Pat Riley, and I hope we're done with that one. Big O, where does Mickey and Pat go from here? Nothing. You hope that maybe some star becomes available by the trading deadline next year, some bitter star, and you can get him or something. But they'll have another good year. They'll make another run and all that. But it's hard to expect them to win a title. It's just hard, man. They've over exceeded all of our expectations. That said, Jose, I understand what you're saying. He could have flexed more, but to say he's not a man, I think that's a little much. Well, that's fine. He's not a man in my book. Men stand up for themselves. Men fight for their rights, bro. This guy gave Portland everything. He doesn't owe Portland anything anymore, dude. He gave you the best 11 years of his career, and you gave him nothing. I disagree with you completely on that. That Damian Lillard had to look out for himself. He's been the ultimate team player for way too long. For an organization that did not deserve his loyalty. So, and there's no doubt in my mind that Spooky, he's gutless, bro. He's as gutless as they get. That's, oh my God. If I was his brother or his really good friend or something close to Damian, man, I would have rattled his cage. He would have gotten pissed at me. He would have ended up getting pissed at me because there's no way that somebody that I love, if it's a friend, even like Sean or a relative that I'm close to, and I see them screwing things up, I'm going to say something. You may not like it. I don't care, but I'm going to tell you what I feel, bro, because you need to hear it. And then you do whatever you want, but you need to hear it. Somebody needs to tell you, hey, man. And his agent, that's another guy. Wow. I guess he can't fix Mr. Nice Guy. I don't know. But yeah, that's the situation. What can I tell you? Big O thought you and Sean were judging a bikini contest at one of the rave pools parties. Hope this made you laugh. All of the best and led to have as much nature be this season. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's hope so. And don't forget, folks, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. We're going to talk to Anthony Chang now here at 3:30. So we'll get the latest from the Changster, and we'll get his thoughts on what he thinks. You know? All right. What else do we have here? Okay. Oh, let's see. What up, Big O? We're headed to meet you and represent Dolphins in Vegas. A little test run before February. Nice. Are you here in Vegas now? Or are you meeting us? You're going to try to meet us today, or are you meeting us on Sunday at Tommy Rockers? What do you mean? That one I don't understand. But I look forward to seeing you. Big O always keeps a real 100. No one wanted to hear it, but the truth was Tannehill, man in the box. Cue the music, please. Yes. Yeah, they didn't want to hear that either. Yeah. Yeah, because there's a certain section of fans that never want to hear the truth about their team. They always want to live in fantasy land that always everything is phenomenal and great and it's all going to work out, and that's just not the case. Unfortunately. It's just not the case. Did you see the story on Chandler Jones? So Chandler Jones from the Raiders, he was arrested again this last night here in Las Vegas. And let me read the story for you. But I want to bring up something that most people aren't really talking about right now with the guy. And this is the part that is kind of disturbing. Okay. So, first of all, he gets arrested last night in Las Vegas. The Raiders released a statement saying the team is hopeful Chandler Jones receives the care he needs. And, Jesus. Can we take the damn box out? Okay, here we go. Okay, damn ad. All right. The team says hope he gets the care he needs. His family and all of those involved are in our thoughts. The NFL also addressed the Jones news, adding, "We've been closely monitoring the matter, and we've been in constant communication with the Raiders." Okay, now you're ready, right? So Jones was arrested Thursday morning in Vegas, just hours after the Raiders star broke down in tears on social media, and it was really disturbing. And he was saying crazy stuff about what was it? Some murder that wasn't a murder or something. Aaron Hernandez didn't hang himself or something. Just crazy stuff, right? Unfortunately, he's not right. So the 33-year-old All-Pro was booked into the Clark County Detention Center in Nevada around midnight, where Jones still remains behind bars. The exact details surrounding the arrest are currently unclear, but apparently he violated a protective order, so they had to arrest him. Okay? Now, this is what I want because a lot of people have short-term memories and they don't remember things. So I asked Sean, hey, do you remember this? And he didn't remember it either. And I remember because I remember reading this story when it first happened years ago. I want to say that man, it might have been Brandon Rodriguez. It might have been my producer those days. So a shirtless Chandler Jones knelt down in the police parking lot, appeared to be praying during a medical incident. Notice how they called it a medical incident. Newly released documents shed some light on what happened with the Patriots defensive end after a Foxborough police officer deleted portions of the official log about the encounter. A shirtless Jones got down on his knees behind the Foxborough police station Sunday morning and appeared to be actively praying or worshiping as officers approached him. The documents shed some light on what happened when the Patriots defensive end, after a Foxborough police officer deleted portions of the official police log about the encounter, which may have violated public records law. Police have called the incident a medical emergency. In a memo to Chief Edward T. O'Leary, David J. Foscaldo reported that a large black man wearing sweatpants and no shirt ambled into the parking lot at 7:40 a.m. In a very hurried and haphazard-like fashion, I saw this man randomly scurry through a portion of the parking lot where the police cars are parked. This man suddenly made a beeline for our police station rear door. Then he says he got down on his knees, laced his hands behind his head, and held the position. I was like, man, was this guy trying to surrender? He was literally as stiff as a board and both upright and rigid. Then Jones slowly got onto the ground and appeared as if he was actively praying or worshiping. Foscaldo and another officer ran towards Jones, who by the time was lying on the ground, arms spread by his side as officers approached him. Part of the reports that are redacted, including what happened after Foscaldo and another officer grabbed Jones' arm, several lines are blacked out after Jones told police officers he had been told to come to the police station. So they couldn't give a plausible or legitimate explanation about why he went to the station, right? Or obviously what he was high on or what was going on. Folks, this was in 2016. This is 2023. And they say they're worried about him and they hope he gets the help he needs. What happened in 2016 when he was with the Patriots? Then he was with the Cardinals, and then now the Raiders. You think these issues didn't continue all throughout? It's like watching who's the Mike Tomlin, who we found out Mike Tomlin's a badass, but we found out that Mike Tomlin is a badass at another level because he kept crazy ass Antonio Brown in check for years. Crazy ass Le'Veon Bell in check for years, and his disgusting quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, who's as low class as it gets. He had to deal with those three clowns for years and still winning. Okay? And then we found out a lot more about Ben Roethlisberger, and then we found out a lot more about Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. Can you imagine what kind of a coach you got to be able to balance those guys? It's like Parcells. One day you're at practice for the Giants, and here comes Lawrence Taylor in practice, coming out to practice, but he's in handcuffs. You got to balance some stuff here in the NFL. You're going to deal with some characters. But think about it. Chandler Jones had this incident where he basically looked crazy, was high on something, and this is 2016. Now it's 7 years later, the man's getting arrested, and now the league's going to tell me that they're worried about his health and his well-being? Get the hell out of here. You just give a shit if Chandler Jones can get sacks for you. That's all you want. You don't care what he does in his off time. You don't care if the man is sane. You don't care if the man is getting any help. Can he get a sacks? That's all we care about. And now that they've used him up and he's 33 years old, the NFL ain't going to, they're going to care even less now. You know what they're going to do? They're going to dispatch you. They're going to get rid of you. They don't need you anymore. They've used you up as much as they can. That man should have gotten help in 2016. Maybe he might live a much better life from there on out. Whatever he's carrying, whatever demons, it's 7 more years of it that you've allowed him to carry that burden and no help. But as long as he can get you sacks, let's run with it. We're good. Anthony Chang is next. Let's get into the Miami Heat and the softest man in the NBA, Damian Lillard.
Heat fans, the fast break is on. It's our Baptist Health of South Florida Heat Report with insider Anthony Chang. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net. Here's Anthony Chang.
So, Anthony, how are you doing, sir? You doing all right?
I'm doing well. Ready for the weekend. Ready for my last free weekend before Media Day on Monday. So I'm going to enjoy it.
So if you have leverage and you have information and you can basically blackmail if you want, you can maybe even control your destiny, but you choose not to, and you're Damian Lillard. Because, I don't know, 3 months ago or 2 months ago, if you wanted to walk into Joe Cronin's office, whether they wanted you in the building or not, you walk into the office and you tell him, hey, Joe, I need to go to Miami. And he's going to say, well, no, we're not trading it. Well, guess what? I am going to go on ESPN this afternoon with Chris Haynes, and we're going to talk about how you held me out for 10 games and how you told me that you were going to trade for a veteran, but you chose not to, and you drafted somebody that's going to replace me. So we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to tell you right here now what I'm going to say in public. I'm not playing for anybody but the Miami Heat. So you can call anybody you want around the league. I don't care. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of your act. I'm tired of this organization, and I am moving on. So don't even try to call anybody else. If you want to call the Miami Heat, you can do that. But I am going to ESPN right now. Why didn't he do that?
Well, we've said it this entire time, right? That the one thing that would change everything was if Damian Lillard softened his stance. And
harden his stance.
Well, I'm saying if he softened his stance, it would hurt the Heat. The Heat were the front runner, right? They had the leverage. Yes. The one thing that was going to change the dynamic and what we all thought was going to happen was if Damian Lillard said, you know what, I'll go to I'll go to these two teams as well, and that's kind of what happened, right? And another thing we said is Damian Lillard.
It wasn't like that initially. According to Chris Haynes, he said, "Oh, if you're not trading Miami, I want to stay here." That's all he said.
Yeah,
okay?
right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Damian Lillard is a decent human being, a very nice person, right?
Yes.
And unfortunately,
no balls, bro. You gotta fight for yourself, bro.
The cliche is nice guys finish last, right? And in this case, he didn't finish last. He's going to a really good team, right? That's the odds-on favorite to win the NBA championship. So it's not like he's been traded to, some team that's going to struggle to win 40 games. They're going to be a really, really good team. But he wanted to make it messy, but to a certain extent. And once Portland said, we're not, they basically said, we're not trading you to Miami, he said, well, I'm not going to stretch this any further. I want to at least be able to pick the team I want to go to. He gave them 2 more teams, and that's how it happened. So, unfortunately, Portland did not want to deal with Miami. The Heat found the superstar that wanted to go to Miami, but they didn't find the GM that wanted to trade him to Miami. It was a tough situation for the Heat.
So they found the superstar that didn't have the super balls to actually make it happen, basically. And that's why I found it unfair people blaming Riley, because Riley could take the hardline stance because he was counting on the other side playing the same hard line. Right. And then if you both did the same thing, you both played the hard line, then you were going to end up, on top. And unfortunately, one guy gave in like Jesus, it
Uh,
just
This is how talks with the Heat went, and this is the impression the Heat was left with. Okay, just from talking to different people, the two teams spoke in July, well documented, right after Damian Lillard made his trade request July 1st. Portland and the Heat spoke. Portland asked for Bam Adebayo. The Heat said, "What? Bam Adebayo? That's why Damian Lillard wants to come to the Heat." Bam Adebayo. From there, talks stalled. Talks were quiet for the last 2 months. There was very limited contact. Portland's stance was, well, if you're going to keep Jimmy and Bam, then we pretty much want every asset you have to get Damian Lillard. We want Tyler Hero, we want your picks, we want your young guys. And the Heat said, and the Heat were basically like, look, we want Damian Lillard, but we're not going to gut the roster. Like you and I talked about earlier this week. You go, you need to have a win now roster if you trade for Damian Lillard. You can't just have Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, and Damian Lillard and then a bunch of minimum guys. That just doesn't work. So talks really never went far between the Heat and Portland.
yeah, no, obviously, hell, they hadn't talked since the summer league.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
And that was like a half-assed thing that was set up and really never followed completely through.
Yeah, pretty much. It was communication was not good between the two sides. I think the Heat remained hopeful, right, that it could, maybe Portland closer to training camp would cooperate a little bit more. Never happened. Obviously, things got uglier than we even thought between Damian Lillard and Portland, based on Chris Haynes' article that was published last night. They weren't even communicating with Damian Lillard, right? Portland wasn't communicating with Damian Lillard or his agent.
No, yeah, early September they cut him out
for 3 weeks. It's just a very, very strange situation, and yeah, unfortunately for the Heat, it just didn't work out for them.
Okay, so is the NBA now going to investigate them and strip them of several first-round picks? Because if Miami can lose one for their tampering, I would imagine making a player sit out that's healthy for 10 games to get a better lottery spot. That's multiple picks, bro.
I would imagine. I mean, I don't think they've announced this yet, but I would imagine after seeing that and how sensitive the league is to that stuff, there has to be some type of investigation open on that. I would imagine. I don't know this. There's not reporting, but the league, Adam Silver, is very sensitive to tanking. We've seen the new rules they put into place, the play-in tournament, all this to kind of dissuade teams from tanking. There were a lot of like eye-opening things, shocking things that I read in that story, but the one of the paragraphs that really stood out was they basically told Damian Lillard, just say you have a calf injury, so we could get a better lottery position. So, yeah, I'm sure the league is going to take a look into that.
I would imagine that they have to do that. All right. Any other moves you expecting them to try to make, or what's the deal? Because do I have to deal with Kyle Lowry for the whole season?
I don't know for the whole season, but it looks like you might have to deal with him for the start of the season. Look, I mean, as of now, I don't think anything is close, right, to like them adding a veteran. We have talked about Goran. From what I hear, that's unlikely. I don't think Goran is going to be back with the Heat. Drew Holiday is a name, right, that's out there, but could we see Miami and Portland really dealing with each other right now on a trade? Hard to imagine, but I guess business is business, right? And I don't think you can rule out Drew Holiday. I just don't know if the Heat has the assets to get that done, considering Portland doesn't really think highly of the Heat's assets, apparently. James Harden, the Heat are not going to go after James Harden. So this might be the roster right now. For now, this might be it. They have 21 players. They're at the preseason maximum. Going to camp with these guys. You need to add a 14th guy to a standard contract. If they don't add a veteran or trade for somebody, they're going to hope that one of the young guys on a two-way or an Exhibit 10 emerges and makes the Heat give them that 14th roster spot. So it'll be kind of a little bit competition in camp for that. But we'll see. You just never know with the Heat. And Buddy Hield is another name, right, that people have floated around.
Yes. Yeah.
They've had interest in Buddy in the past. I don't, as of yesterday or as of 2 days ago, they had not registered interest in him yet. So it just seems like, unless something changes in the next few days, it seems like they're going to go into camp with this group and then maybe see just how it plays out from there.
Okay. All right. That's kind of funky, man. Everything has kind of ended up working out here, unfortunately, for the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
And it kind of, the sad part is for the fan base, it kind of takes the wind out of the sails because now you're hoping for another overachieving year, because let's be quite honest, that's what you've done for 4 years.
Right.
You've overachieved. Now, the one thing I will say, Anthony, that I heard this bullshit a lot 4 years ago, and now we're 5 years into it. I heard, well, no, it won't be a problem to recruit that second star, or Jimmy Butler, will be able to recruit that second star. Well, neither one happened. We're now 5 years. Now we're going into year 5 of Jimmy, and they did not get that second star, and that's what we all knew that you kind of really needed in order to get that, to have a legit shot at a championship. And that's the one thing that I can't be critical of the trade that didn't happen with Riley. I never was, because I blamed it all on Lillard more than anything else. But I can blame Riley and I can blame Butler that they have failed to bring that second star 5 years in.
Don't scream at me, but Kyle Lowry was supposed to be that guy a couple of years ago.
Hey, listen. Maybe you thought that shit.
No, I know, but I'm joking. I'm joking with you.
Okay, no, because I thoroughly ripped the Heat for making that move. Okay, I never accepted that move. That was one of the class A dumb moves that they've ever made in their lives. I mean, that goes right up there with, I don't know, the drafting of what was that European kid?
I know you're talking I would know this because he covered him, but I off the top of my head I can't. It's the only other European player they've drafted other than Jovic.
Yeah, I covered it too, bro. It's like whatever, but that's the kind of move that you made, right? Or signing Dion Waiters knowing he needs surgery. That was also a classic
ankle surgery.
Really stupid move. That was so unheat like. Like a Heat team normally was, oh, you need surgery? Oh, no problem. We'll check back with you next year, okay? Or we'll sign you to a minimum deal, and then you can rehab, and then we'll talk about next year or something.
Yeah.
That's what the Heat would have done. But that, to me, that's my criticism. That's my only criticism.
And that's fair.
By the way, that was an open criticism of Jimmy Butler when he got here. Can he get somebody to come here to play with him?
Yeah.
And he's not the recruiter either, by the way.
I mean, the counterpoint to that is Damian Lillard wanted to be here, right? It didn't happen. I know he's off in his stance. He opened it up to other teams, but Damian Lillard wanted to be here.
But it wasn't Butler.
Right, it was Bam.
It was Bam.
But I think Jimmy still plays an indirect role, right? Because he's the one that led him to the finals. Like, you've seen all the success the Heat has had. If Jimmy's not here and they're a first-round exit, does Damian Lillard want to come still because of Bam? Probably not. Kevin Durant wanted to come here, right? The Suns and the Heat were the two. So stars want to come here. The deal just isn't happening, right? Like, two of the biggest stars that have come in the market, Bradley Beal, another one, had interest in coming to the Heat. So it's not a matter of stars not wanting to come. It's just a matter of the deals just not getting done.
Well, that's
the second part of it. Yeah, the second part of it, right? Not closing the deal. Or maybe just not having the assets, right, to close a deal.
That's also they have done a really bad job of mishandling their assets in the last 10 years that have kind of put them in this position at times. And let me tell you, I still can't get over the fact that Bosch and LeBron, because they wanted to keep their bird rights. No. Trade first rounders for him. It's like, yo, morons. He can use those first rounders to help you guys out.
Yeah.
Instead, and because you wanted your bird rights, the things like that at times just piss me off, dude.
Yeah, that was something that I think upset the Heat too after the fact, because they got that extra year in the contract and then they ended up just opting out anyway. So it was kind of, you didn't need to do that, but at the time, obviously a player wants the extra year just in case. You never know, if you get injured or something like that. So yeah, that was unfortunate. But yeah, it's look, like you said, not everything is in the Heat's control.
No.
I'm not taking the blame away from them, the 100%, but they're in the game for these guys. They're one of the final three teams consistently.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they haven't gotten it done in a couple years now.
Yeah. No, and listen, they've done a phenomenal job. They still put together one hell of a team. They've gotten to the finals, gotten to the Eastern Conference Finals a bunch. Even with teams that I think most coaches would have never gotten to the Eastern Conference Finals or Finals with the same bunch. So Spo has been second to none. There's no doubt. And I'm not blaming him at all for this Lillard situation. but I do have to lay the blame on Jimmy and on Riley for 5 years now, dude. You have
Right.
struck out for 5 straight years and not getting. And the other thing I blame Jimmy and Riley is that you screwed yourself by adding what's it called? The Kyle
Kyle.
Lowry. Because that
Yeah.
30 million now, you could have stayed liquid and keep that 30 million so you can keep it just in case somebody else becomes available. So that's the other thing. It's just a real shame, man, because that they're good enough that if they had that one other
Oh yeah.
star, brother, they could have shocked somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they've even without that other star, they've come what they came 3 wins away from winning the championship last year. Like they were this close without Tyler Hero, by the way. I know that's another conversation, but without arguably their third best player, they got to the NBA Finals, and were 3 wins away from a championship. So it's like you said, overachieving. You call it whatever you want. They've been to the finals 2 of the last 4 years, Eastern Conference Finals 3 of the last 4 years. And yes, does Milwaukee look like the best team in the East right now on paper? Yeah, they do. But the Heat have surprised us the last few years, so I've learned that you can't count the Heat out.
No.
Because they always find a way to make to surpass expectations somehow.
I'm not counting them out. I'm expecting them to have a good year. It's hard for me to expect a championship.
Yeah. I think it's
that,
and it's like you said, it's like the letdown, right? Because everyone expected Damian Lillard in a Heat uniform. Everyone was just ready for that. Even the guy said it. Unfortunately, I was wrong. You could put on freezing cold takes, but a bunch of us said it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Like it's gonna happen. Damian Lillard will be a member of the Heat, and unfortunately, it just didn't come to be. And I think this close to the season, for that disappointment to happen, yeah, it's gonna take the wind out of the sails of fans who were expecting something big, and pretty much the Heat brought back a big part of last year's roster, kind of quote unquote running it back with just a few new faces, but this is pretty much the same team as last year.
Yeah, no, it is, and you're hoping that you improve from within, which is Jovic and
Akes, yeah,
and Caleb also taking another step.
And Tyler and Bam continuing to try to improve. Tyler's still 22, right? So that's the hope. How much more can you expect that growth, right, year over year?
I just want Tyler not to be Tua.
To be healthy.
Yeah.
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 How
I don't
about
want
Tyler?
to be injury prone.
Yeah.
That's my problem with Tyler. It's not really his play. I know who he is already as a player, but his problem is, bro, you can't stay healthy. You're unreliable. Right. That's his problem right there. So you can't have that Tua thing on you that you're like, because Tua has to carry this shit now for years until he's for years out on the field and barely misses anything.
Right.
Then
Proving otherwise.
Then people will leave Tua alone. But for now, he's got to carry it. And for me, it's the same thing with the way I look at the kid. He never stays healthy. He's unreliable. He breaks down all the time, dude. It's a shame. And you've made the 2 runs the last 2 years without him. You don't even need him.
Right. How about Tyler? I mean, this is not saying it's, that we should feel sorry for him. He's a very wealthy guy, has what if he's playing in the NBA, but he's dealt with this now every offseason. And you see him making jokes about it yesterday on Twitter. I think the way he's taken all this is encouraging, right? And we'll talk to him on Monday at Media Day, but this has not been easy to go through every summer, having to deal with your name and rumors. Right. And he's joking about it on social media. So, I think the maturity he's shown through this is a good sign that, he understands this is the business, and he understands, look, if Damian Lillard is available, if I'm going to be mentioned in trade rumors, that's a guy I want to be in trade rumors with, because he's he's a Hall of Famer. And same thing with Kevin Durant last year. Kevin Durant last year was the same thing.
Just look at that franchise. Glenn Rice was gone.
Yeah.
For Alonzo Mourning.
Yeah.
And Karam Butler and Lamar Odom were gone for Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
They're going to move you. But I think for Tyler, what you have to do, young man, is make yourself irreplaceable.
Mm-hmm.
And stay on the court and kick some serious ass to a point where, like, oh, we can't get rid of this kid. And that's what you haven't done. And that's why your name is always going to be mentioned, because you have not done. In fact, you have been so unconvincing that nobody else wanted you. So you wake up, all right?
Yeah.
Making your money and all that. You weren't even a sexy trade offer. In fact, you are part of the problem why that trade didn't happen. So if Tyler wants to get mad at anyone, get mad at yourself, not at the situation. You've put yourself in that situation.
I think the motivation will definitely be there
I hope
this
so.
year. I
I hope
think the
so.
motivation will definitely be there. And that, again, that's an intangible. It can only take somebody so far. But look, he was, like you said, he was dragged through the mud this offseason. Whether you agree with it or not, like Tyler's not worth this. He's not that good. He's not a good asset. Um, Portland doesn't want him. Like he's had to hear that all summer.
Nobody
Um,
wanted.
well, there are some teams reportedly, Brooklyn, who are interested, that were willing to give up a pick or something. So there's Utah, I think, was reportedly interested. There are a few teams, but for the most part, yeah, like he's had to hear that noise for the last few months. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what he has to say at media day again, because he hasn't spoken to the media since his injury last year, since the first round of the playoffs. And we have a lot to ask him. So and he's usually really thoughtful with his answers. So that's something to look out for next week.
He's a good kid, man. He's a good kid. You just got to get it going and be that guy, and hopefully you won't have to deal with these off seasons anymore. Follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chang. What are you working on in the Herald, sir? So folks can check you out.
Yeah, now that the Damian Lillard saga is over, we're writing about actual basketball again. I have a Q&A with Jaime Jaquez up today to kind of preview another preview story for camp next week, and tomorrow I'll have another Q&A up with another player, and then probably questions entering camp, different questions surrounding the team now that we kind of know what the roster is going to be. So just a bunch of preview stuff coming up this weekend. No days off. We're at the time of the year where there's content every day pretty much. And then we'll have you covered from all angles on Media Day on Monday from the Kaseya Center.
It's a beautiful thing. Have a great weekend, my friend. Follow him on Twitter, Anthony_Chang. We will catch up on Tuesday. You be good out there.
Enjoy Vegas, Big O. Enjoy the concert.
You know it. Tonight, baby. We'll be rocking. Be good.
See you.
You got it. Yeah, baby. That is our BaptistHealth.net/ortho Miami Heat report. And don't forget, folks, you don't need to be a professional athlete to go where the pros go. The doctors at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care can see you now. Visit BaptistHealth.net/ortho to request an appointment and get yourself back in the game.
The Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Heat Report with Anthony Chang is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net.
All right. By the way, I want to thank New York Hotel and Casino. It is a beautiful place to stay. I love for a guy like you and me, all the food options we have downstairs. And I got myself those donuts in the morning. Yeah, you know what? You know where I want to give New York mad props? Not just the food and the room, terrific, and all that stuff. When you take a shower, I want to tell New York something, okay? I want to tell you how much I appreciate you on this, okay? Because normally you turn on the shower and it takes, a minute or two or three for the hot water to, kind of get going. I've never seen this. You turn on the shower and, brother, it was warm right on the spot. That was cool. Okay. Whatever plumbing they do with their system there in New York, like it. I like it. Fun place. And a very active place, New York. So we thank New York. Our accommodations, absolutely fantastic. Hero's biggest obstacle is the persona of the skinny, unathletic white kid. If he stays healthy and shows his worth when it counts, he'll put that to sleep. He's athletic. I disagree with you. He's not an unathletic guy. I completely disagree with you on that one. Unathletic and white is John Shasky. You're probably too young to know what the hell I'm talking about. Unathletic and white was Larry Bird. John Havlicek, yeah. Give me a modern day white guy that is unathletic. Nurkic, the guy that just got traded, he's not that athletic. Huh? Yeah. I mean, I think Tyler's athletic, dude. Is he going to be, jumping from the foul line and tomahawk slamming? No. But I would call him athletic. Definitely athletic. The way he can move and glide and jump and shoot and pass, he's athletic. He's just not like going to sky 45 inches. You know, that's not the part of his game. But watch him handle the ball and run the court. He's athletic. Definitely athletic. Joe Ingles, that's a pretty good one right there. He's a shooter. No, Luka's athletic, bro. No. He's athletic. Yeah, you can't handle the ball the way he does and shoot and pass. He's athletic. It's just he looks a little like me now, which that's not good. Supposedly he worked on his weight this offseason. Supposedly. I don't know. Huh? The white guy in Cleveland? Oh, the center. Ilgauskas. That's who you're talking about? The big white guy? Yeah. Zadrunas Ilgauskas. Well, that's an unathletic big white guy. Huh? Oh, Mark Eaton, yeah, for the Jazz. Yeah, he was like 7'4". You heard that story, right? The All-Star game? That was the first time I got to meet Mark Eaton outside of a locker room. And it's the first time I met him because at that moment I wasn't in the media actually. So the Heat, we had the All-Star game. I believe it was the second year of existence, or maybe the first year, one of the two. And I had tickets for the All-Star game. Obviously, I was a season ticket holder. Yeah, and definitely I wasn't because I remember I was a season ticket holder the first 4 years of the Heat, and then I got into the media, and then that's it. And so I'm sitting in my seats, and I want to say it was maybe 4 or 5 rows up from the floor, and I'm sitting on the aisle seat, the first 2 seats. I saw they were open, and we were on the same section, but we were about 15 rows up. Okay. And by the way, everything happens for a reason. So I'm sitting in those seats. I go to my wife, let's go downstairs and get a little closer. And if anything, they kick us out, we go back to our seats. No big deal. So I'm sitting there with the wife, and I get a tap on my shoulder. And I look up, and boy, I had to look way up because Mark Eaton was 7'4". And he's tapping, and he looks at me and goes, excuse me, I think those are my seats. And I go, yes, they are. Excuse me. Let's go. Walked up the stairs, sat in my seat. That's it. And the rest is history. Now, if you go to the Topps cards of 1989, the All-Star game in Miami, and if you get the Charles Barkley card that is David Robinson, and it's David Robinson shooting a jump shot in the air, and Charles Barkley is jumping, and he's about to block. He's like at the same height as David Robinson. Remember, Charles is much shorter, okay? Shows you the athleticism of Charles, how high he can get up there. Anyway, if you look through the shot and you look into the stands, me and my wife are there in our Heat jerseys. So I was wearing my Cycling jersey, and I think she was wearing a Billy Thompson one, I believe, in those days. Or it might have been Glenn Rice. Not sure. No, I think it was Billy Thompson. I don't think we had Glenn Rice yet. Actually, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we had Glenn Rice. It must have been the Billy Thompson one. Billy used to sign Billy Thompson, Jesus Saves, 55. I remember that. But anyway, so everything happens for a reason. So I have my rookie card, which I've talked about before. In fact, I've showed it. I've showed the rookie card here on the. A friend of mine found it. I never even knew. Like a friend of mine was looking through the cards, and he goes, "Bro, didn't you go to this game?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Isn't this you?" Like, yeah, it's me and the wife. She was a girlfriend then. But yeah, it was a long, long time ago. Let's see. Big picture question from Dougie Fresh. Sometimes the demise of boxing and baseball are compared as co-equal. However, although they are both less popular than in the 70s and 80s, How are these not the same? Well, because it is happening to baseball. You know, for boxing, it's kind of leveled off and it's stayed kind of the same place where it's been now. It's kind of more of a fringe sport now. And then it brings in the general public on certain fights, but it doesn't happen much anymore. Do you know why? Because we don't have enough fighters that the public gets to know. And so that's the problem. There aren't enough fighters that we put them in mainstream so people get to know. And that's why I think it's lost that. But there's no doubt that it's kind of the same with baseball, although baseball's thinking of expanding. The ratings went up? Really? Okay. Did attendance go up is the question. Did more people attend baseball games? I mean, the season hasn't ended yet, so I don't know if they'll have the numbers yet, but do they have more people going through the turnstiles is the question. If that is on the way up, well then, All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Hour number 2, because we've got Michelle Kaufman. She's about to join us. We'll talk a little Inter Miami right here, live from the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Canelo and Charlo. We are covering the event. The fight is tomorrow night. Back with more right here on the Big O Radio Show.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Miles an hour, that's a Category 4 hurricane. 3 deaths are reported in Florida after more than 24 were killed in the Caribbean. This
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, Same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
We're going to go to Michelle Kaufman in just a second here. Narcissist, by the way, sending in a text, and he says that I sound like a high school kid that asked the dream girl to the prom and she turned him down, as now he starts ripping into her. How did Lillard lose by getting teamed up with Giannis? Lillard won. I never said Lillard lost. See, the problem, narcissist, is there's something called the English language. You may want to learn and study and understand it and read it more, so maybe you might understand what somebody's saying. I'm ripping into Damian Lillard because he's the one that said he wanted to go to Miami or stay in Portland. That's it. Whether he won or lost, I've said over and over again, he ends up in a place where he gets to go to a shot for the finals. But he wanted to come to Miami. And so the bottom line is, the guy's a complete wuss. He didn't fight for himself. He had every opportunity to fight for himself, but he's gutless. Nothing about losing or anything like that. You got to fight for yourself, and he failed. Michelle Kaufman is ready to go right here on the Big O Radio Show.
When you want to find out the latest with Messi and Inter Miami, there's only one source soccer fans have counted on for over 20 years. Michelle Kaufman of the Miami Herald. It's time for the EJDConstruction.com Inter Miami CF report. Here's Michelle Kaufman.
Right. There she is. How you feeling, Michelle? The good thing is your pockets still have the same amount of money, unlike season ticket holders.
Well, my husband is a season ticket holder, though, so that's not exactly true, because we have a joint bank account. So that is actually not true what you just said. Yes, his ticket last year, he has a very good seat. He has one seat. His ticket last year was $3,400 for the season. His season ticket this year for 2024 for the same seat will be $7,267. So we're talking about a jump of more than double. Double would have been $6,800. It's $7,200. So it is more than double the increase for his ticket. So yes, I am personally feeling the pain
you are. I forgot about that.
Because of my husband. Yeah.
I forgot Dave goes to all the games. And so is he going to renew?
He is. He's going to renew. I said to him, you can get a cheaper seat. I mean, they are giving you the option if you if you want to take a different seat that's less expensive, you have first dibs at all the other seats, if you're already a season ticket holder. But he said he's going to splurge because he really likes that seat. He likes the midfield club. He likes to eat in there and drink. And if it's raining, he goes inside the midfield club and hangs out. And he likes the seat. He's like in the 7th row in the middle there, section 101 or whatever. He's got a really good seat. He basically stands right over Tata. And he like, then he always texts me like, hey, Tata just did this, Tata just did that. So he's actually like my little spy down there. That's our little secret.
That is awesome. That is very cool. That is very cool. Now, the one thing, I'm not surprised that the prices were jacked. I mean, you want Messi? I mean, this is how it goes.
There's a cost. This is the cost of Messi. This is the cost. You're going to pay a price to get Lionel Messi. Now, I think everyone assumed that the prices would go up. I don't know that people realized they were going to be double. The actual prices I did, in all fairness, I like to always be fair and balanced and accurate. I believe that's why I've lasted 35 years in this business. So yes, the numbers seem crazy, but when I looked and actually did the research for the NFL and the NBA, now granted, the argument there is that the NFL and the NBA are the two best leagues of their sport, whereas MLS is not the best league of its sport. So if you're buying an NBA ticket, you're seeing all the best players all the best players in professional basketball are going to be on the court, and in the NFL as well. Whereas in this, in this sport, in MLS, you're going to get Messi, who is the best. You're going to get Busquets and Alba, who are also two of the best. But all the other players in MLS and on their team are not the highest players in the soccer world. So, but just on as far as pricing of NFL and NBA tickets, they are on par with the average NFL and NBA ticket. If you're going to get an NBA season ticket, the ones right up front go for $80,000. For sitting on courtside and sitting in some of those clubs and all that stuff can be very high. So, it's not out of whack as far as NFL and NBA prices, but it is double what people were paying. So in the past, for example, this year, if you sat in the north stands, right, in the end zone seats behind the goal, the average ticket per game was $28 per game, and now it's 52. So it's $52 per game now, which is it's double of 28.
By the way, I remember this. We were charging the first year of the Fusion, I believe it was like $40 to go watch Digital Takawita. Okay. You remember the first year that you probably wrote the story that people were disgusted with the prices. Like they thought that Horowitz like outpriced everything. And then he had to reprice everything and brought it back down, I think in the second year or something like that. Do you remember that story?
I don't. I actually don't remember that, sir. I'll have to go back and dig it up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure you wrote it. I'm sure
I wrote it. I'll have to go back and find it.
And it might have been you or it might have been Rusnick. But I remember one of you writing like, we're paying this kind of money to go see Digital Takawita or something like that. It was like a line, and I've never forgotten it. And I remember that they had to readjust their prices too. And we're talking over 20 years ago that this is. And so you think about it, a $50 seat to see Messi is really not that expensive. It just
no, it's not. And that's right. And that's the club side of it is that you can there are plenty of seats at $50 per seat to see Messi. And, for a season ticket, I mean, you can see him for $50 a pop. And these days, I mean, I just went to the movies with my husband. I mean, it's expensive now to go to the movies, to go anywhere, and forget about the concerts. I'm not even talking about Taylor Swift, but I'm talking about any concert that you go to now. I know because my daughter's been going to John Mayer. She's been going to Noah Khan. That's her new favorite. Those tickets are really, really expensive.
Yeah, I'm in Vegas. Open, I'm in Vegas. You see this? Can you see the hat? You see?
Yeah.
You see who I'm seeing tonight? Debut in the Sphere. U2. That wasn't a cheap ticket, Michelle.
No, it's not. And everything now is expensive. The US Open in tennis or the Miami Open. If you want to go watch tennis at the Miami Open, you're gonna shell out $100 or more. I mean, it's just that's I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but sports and entertainment tickets are so expensive now, ridiculous. I mean, the whole thing that went on with Bruce Springsteen and with Taylor Swift and everybody. So yeah, I mean, he's the GOAT. He plays for this team. They were going to jack up the prices. I mean, it was just bound to happen.
Yeah, I didn't. I get it. I'm not the one paying for it, but I wasn't surprised, and I don't think it's unfair what Miami's doing. And then here's the other thing. Unfortunately for the Moss family, it's not a stadium that has 27, 30,000, 35,000 seats where maybe you can play with it a little bit more. You're kind of limited with the 19, and so you've got to maximize your revenue. And if you want them to bring Messi and Busquets and Alba and some of these young cats that they brought, the under 22 guys also cost some money too. And
Oh yes,
if you want to
yes they
re-sign,
do.
and if you want to re-sign Calendar to a long-term, and if you want to have a great team like what they're doing, brother, you're going to have to pay on your end too because they're paying on their end. So I don't really have a problem. Now, the question I do have to ask you is, they added some seats. Are they going to add even more?
I don't think so. I mean, I think,
No?
you mean in another corner, in the other corner?
Oh, I'm actually thinking like redesigning the corners that they have to kind of completely fill it out. And I was
Yeah,
wondering
because
if,
right now they literally took the bleachers from the F1. That's
right,
where those are from. They
right.
moved those up I-95 on some kind of truck from the F1. They moved those bleachers up there, and it doesn't fill. You're right, it does not fill the corner. It's just like one bleacher in this corner, one bleacher in the other corner, but there's a lot of empty space
If
there.
they
But
felt like it, they could now in the offseason construct it and fill and close out those corners and connect them and fill and put more seats if they felt
yeah,
like it. I'm thinking, I'm just trying to help out the Moss family there, give them some ideas. But I would imagine that you're going to try to, you're there for 2 more years, brother. If you can get the permits and if Fort Lauderdale allows and all that, add as many seats as you can wherever you can in that damn place.
yeah. No, I know that they did add on the east side, they've added like suite type seats, which they didn't have before. Before this special premium seats were only on the west side. Now on the east side, they have some premium seating down low over there as well. So that people, because there's not enough room. Like even people who want to shell out a lot of money to get some kind of premium field level suite type thing, there are only so many that they can do because it's a very small stadium, you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, look at the celebrities. They all have to hang
Yeah.
out in the box with Moss and Beckham because they don't
Yeah.
have any space. So
Right.
you know how it is. You've been doing this forever. All these arenas and stadiums, they already have planned out sections and seats that are already that they never sell. These are special seats for
When Zidane shows
celebrities.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When people like
Serena
that,
Williams shows up. Zidane
right,
shows up. Kim
right.
Kardashian shows up. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Now they don't have that in this stadium, unfortunately, and that's why they're all hanging out in the same boxes with Beckham and Moss because they just don't have spare boxes to give out.
Right.
And it's just that's why I was asking if they were going to get creative this offseason and try to add more seats because that's what I would try to be doing because you certainly can sell the damn seats with that guy in there. All right, so let's get to the play. We really enjoyed everything that happened since he got here, but hindsight is 2020, huh? They played way too many games, and has taken a toll, not just on Messi, but on the entire team overall.
Yeah. The entire team, Tata said after the game the other day, after the US Open Cup, he said, he was asked, what did you see or whatever? And he said, what I saw was a very tired team, physically and mentally, because not only they've played 16 games in 64 days, so it's every 4 days. There's been a game every 4 days. But he said it's not only that they've been playing every 4 days. All of these games, for the most part, the vast majority of those 16 games have been do or die definitive games because they were playing first in the League's Cup, which was, one and done.
Elimination. Right.
So It was an elimination tournament, knockout tournament. So they played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 7 Leagues Cup games in a row. So 7 single elimination games in a row they played. Then the game after that was the US Open Cup semifinals. So another one. So that's 8. So there were 8 single elimination, really, tough games you have to win. They won the Leagues Cup. They win the US Open semifinal cup in dramatic fashion with penalty kicks and 120 minutes, all this stuff. Then they play a few league games and then everyone's saying, well, they have to win the league games because now they're in last place. They're trying to climb up to 9th place to make the playoffs. So each game is like a do or die game. So point being, they haven't had a chance to not that you would take a game off, but they really haven't had any game where they could afford to maybe rotate more their roster, play some other players who don't play that much. They've really gone with mostly starting players for 16 games over 64 days. And then a lot of travel. And then, with Messi, I mean, he flew Miami to LA for the LA game. From LA, then he went to Argentina. From Argentina, he went to Bolivia. From Bolivia, he came back to Miami. I mean, so there's been a lot of travel involved, and he did aggravate an injury. I mean, they are finally using the word injury, lesión.
Yeah.
It was not fatigue, muscle fatigue. That's BS. No, it's not muscle fatigue. He has an injury. Jordi Alba, today it was finally confirmed today by Javi Morales that he has a hamstring injury, and it's going to be a while for him. He's definitely not going to play tomorrow. It's going to be a while for him.
Oh, he's done for the year. He's done for the year. If they make the playoffs,
unless they make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs,
maybe he's available if they make the playoffs, but he won't be playing for weeks, man. If he's got a hamstring, because you also don't want him to tear that thing up where he's the entire offseason rehabbing. That's the other thing you don't want. So that's
yeah.
So Messi's injury, it looks like he's also kind of very questionable.
Messi is day to day. Messi, they said, was going to train today, but he didn't come out with the team. We're allowed to watch 15 minutes in the media. He was not out during the 15-minute media portion. As soon as we were getting ready to leave, he came out. So he did come out, but we don't know what he did. Like, did he just jog around with a trainer, or did he actually participate in drills with the team? That I can't tell you because they made us leave. As soon as Messi came onto the field, they said to the media, okay, everybody, it's time to go back to your cars. So, so I don't know exactly what he did. He was there. He was wearing, the usual training uniform like everybody else. And he was there. I saw him with my own 2 eyeballs, but I don't know how much he trained. I don't know if he's ready. They said it's going to be a day-to-day decision. It's going to be announced tomorrow whether he's going to play or not. So we don't know. John Mata is back. That is one person who is back from injury. He's going to play tomorrow.
How about Gregory? Not yet?
No.
Okay. Because you could definitely use his defense. The other thing that I would ask you, this is a great learning experience for them. And because of their success with the U.S. Open Cup and with the what's it called, the one with the Mexican Leagues Cup, they've also earned the right to play in some tournaments next year too, and they're going to have to also play in the U.S. Open Cup next year, and they're going to have the MLS play, so they're going to go through a lot of the same shit that they went through this year. And how are they going to construct their roster and attack something like that to make sure they don't end up in this same position next year? Because next year you're going to be an elite team. Next year you're probably going to last a long time in most of these tournaments, and in the MLS you're going to be one of the top teams probably. So there's going to be even more pressure on you compared to what happened this year. So you got to be very careful, because this is a good learning exercise, because next year you might be taxed with the same amount of burden, including maybe another tournament on top of all of that.
Yeah, I agree. It's really too much. There's been some pushback from MLS coaches. Steve Cherundolo the other day, there's been some pushback from coaches saying that it's too much. That, adding the Leagues Cup in addition to, and these are from teams that didn't even make the finals like this team did, So these are coaches and players are starting to buzz about the idea that the scheduling needs to be different, that they can't be having week after week of Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, that they're going to need some time to recuperate. The teams that are making deep runs, the teams that didn't make any deep run in the Leagues Cup, they're done in the first 2 games or whatever, and they're out and they got to rest the rest of the time. But the teams like this team, and that's what Tata was saying, that he has said it a few times now. That was not, they didn't really know that was going to happen. I'm not saying that they didn't hope that they were going to win all those games. They didn't know, and nor did they probably think that they were going to go on a 12-game unbeaten streak. I think they thought, oh, we're bringing this team together. We'll see how we do in this Leagues Cup thing. Let's see how that goes. And then we have the U.S. Open Cup. We're already in the semifinal of that. So that they knew, and I think they were focused on the U.S. Open Cup because they thought all they have to do is win a semi and then they're in the final, period. But this Leagues Cup was thrown in for the first time ever. It's a brand new tournament between MLS and Liga MX in Mexico. They throw this tournament in there, and now all of a sudden, Inter Miami's playing 7 games in a row on a very tight schedule. So it needs some looking at the scheduling in the MLS, that if they are going to have to play all these tournaments, and you haven't even mentioned the FIFA window. You have not mentioned Copa America is
That's what I
next
mean.
summer
That's what I
in
mean.
the United States.
They qualified for Copa America because of the U.S. Open Cup, correct?
No. I'm talking about the
Or
U.S. national team. I'm talking about
the
Copa
US
America.
no, you're talking about God, yes, that's right. On top of all of that, yes, and
I'm
all the
talking about
national
Brazil, Argentina, Peru, Colombia. They're
Yeah.
all going to be here in the United States for Copa America.
Right.
It's summer of
Copa America.
25
So
or
the
next
national
summer. Yeah.
responsibilities on top of all of that. Yes, exactly. It's crazy. It's just
Yeah.
too much. And you know
Yeah.
what's going to end up happening, which happens in the U.S. Open Cup. There are clubs that, like, when they've had a lot of success in the MLS, they don't care about the U.S. Open Cup and they rest their guys and they
Yeah.
call up a bunch of their minor leaguers and stuff like that. And that's what's going to end up happening to the Leagues Cup and to the U.S. Open Cup. And so if you don't want to be the NBA regular season, okay, and you want them to take it serious, well, then you better break that thing apart a little bit more, because it's just not fair to coaches, and they're going to have to Popovich this thing. They're just going to have to.
Yeah. And I think the one that would suffer will be U.S. Open Cup, because that is the one that is not run by the league, and that's the one that's not on Apple. That's the one that's not on Apple. Apple does Leagues Cup, and everybody else does U.S. Open Cup, non-Apple product. So I guarantee you that if there's one that's going to suffer, it's going to be the U.S. Open Cup, because that's run by U.S. Soccer. That is not run by MLS. So that's where the conflict is going to be, right there. Yep.
That's a fantastic point. That is absolutely fantastic. All right, what do you think about Saturday? What are we expecting?
Well, NYCFC, I was just doing some research on them. They're actually, unfortunately for the Inter Miami, they're on a pretty good run right now. They've had a really good run in the last 5 games. They've got 10 points in the last 5 games. They are sitting in the 9th place spot. The thing is, right now, Inter Miami has 5 games left. 5 games left. They are 5 points back and 5 spots back from 9th place, which is the final playoff spot. 4 of the teams they have to play are between them and the playoffs. Only one team, Cincinnati, has already clinched, and it, won't affect them. But 4 out of the 5 games, it's in their hands. 4 out of the 5 games are against teams that they are, between Inter Miami and the playoffs. So the first one is tomorrow. NYCFC is in 9th place right now with 37 points, and Miami is with 32 points. So if Miami gets 3 points, they can close the gap to 2 points, and they could move up to 11th place from 14th. They could move from 14th place to 11th and be 2 points back from the playoff line. So, they have to, I believe based on the previous number of points that you needed to be in ninth place the last few years, we talked about 43, 44 points. They probably have to win 4 out of the 5 games, to be honest, unless a lot of other teams start losing and things happening. But for them to have a good shot at making the playoffs, they have to win 4 out of 5.
Let's see if it happens. What else are you working on in the Miami Herald so folks can check you out?
That's it. I am all messy, all Inter Miami all the time. I do have a podcast called Inside Inter Miami. You can check it out on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple. And this week, actually, I had Alexi Lawless on, and he was my special guest this week. And he had 30 minutes of fantastic commentary about Messi, about the league in general, about all kinds of stuff. If you guys know Alexi Lawless, you know he doesn't hold back with his views, whether you agree with him or not.
Right.
So anyway, so that was a fun podcast. If you want to check it out, Inside Inter Miami, and just check out all my coverage of Inter Miami. I'm there every day at training. I am the go-to source. If you want someone who's there, whether Messi plays or doesn't play, whether Messi's at training or not at training, Michelle Kaufman is there for the Miami Herald and for the EJD Construction podcast, weekly podcast. Please join us every week on the EJD Construction podcast.
There you go. Thank you, Michelle. Follow her on Twitter at Cop Sports and catch her work there at the Miami Herald and the podcast too. Michelle, have a great weekend. We'll talk
Thanks,
next
you
week.
too. All right, sounds good. Take care.
You got it. Thank you. That is the great Michelle Kaufman. And of course, when we talk about EJD Construction, we love talking about Eric and all the great people out there at EJD Construction. They know how to get it done, and they save you a lot of money. And by the way, they're fully insured, workers' comp and liability, folks. So if anybody actually gets injured on your property, they will not sue you because they're fully insured. And I'm talking about custom home construction and major home remodeling. We've had listeners remediate their house after a fire. We've had listeners add an extra room to their home, build a Airbnb on their properties. We had one listener that built a observation deck. We had 2 listeners that have built a what's it called, the stadium seating in their home for a like a home theater, with stadium seating. So cool. I don't have the kind of home that I could have a room like that, but if you do, you can call EJD Construction at 305-433-4843.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Inter Miami CF Report with Michelle Kaufman. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
All right, let's switch gears. We go from football to football and talk a little Miami Dolphins with David Furones from the South Florida Sun Sentinel next.
No platform is more dedicated to the Miami Dolphins than this one. Let's get the latest for the Miami Dolphins Nation with our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones.
All right. And don't forget, folks, I want to thank the folks at New York Hotel and Casino and the MGM Grand for hosting us this week. As always, I mean, really, really fun and a very, very, when we talk about like an event, this is the kind of event that I love coming to, but a world championship event is just second to none. So we thank New York, and we thank, of course, the MGM Grand, and we thank David Furones for joining us. How you doing, my man? You doing all right?
Absolutely, yeah. The times I've been to Vegas, I like staying at the MGM. So I hope you're having a good time out there.
Yesterday I went to have my favorite chicken soup. When you stay at the MGM, you got to go to the Wolfgang Puck there.
Oh, yes, I've had it.
Oh, their chicken noodle soup is my favorite chicken noodle soup in the world.
Okay. I'll have to keep that in mind for next time.
Go to my Twitter page or my Instagram page, either one. I posted it yesterday. And just look at that soup. I mean, it is so good, dude. It's so good. It is delicious. It's hearty, and it's also light. Because sometimes some of these soups have grease and stuff on it. And this soup just goes down so smooth, dude.
Hardy but healthy. That's good.
Yes, hearty and healthy, dude. Really, really good soup. All right, so this Ezukama thing kind of interesting. Apparently, he's got an injury prior to when he was in Texas Tech, and then Craycraft now put also on the IR. So, talk to us about both gentlemen, and when what's the future for either one?
Yeah, we were wondering about Ezekanma because kind of caught everyone by surprise when he played. He didn't have an injury status, and then all of a sudden he was inactive, and then we weren't aware of any injury going into that game. So it was interesting when he wasn't able to go, and then you finally see it's the neck when he pops up on the Wednesday injury report this week. So yeah, something that was there before, and then now rediscovering. We don't know too much or too many specifics, but that's concerning for that young man. And now he's on the reserve non-football injury list. So that'll put him out now for the considerable future. Same thing with River Craycraft. Obviously, we saw him go down with that shoulder injury during the Denver game. Obviously, he went down on it, and it was that right shoulder, and he was having a tough time moving it as he came off the side, off the sideline, off the field. So ever since Monday when Mike McDaniel first spoke about it, then he seemed to indicate that it wasn't going to be something that he would be able to come back quickly from. So I thought once he said that injured reserve seemed to be a realistic possibility. And then sure enough, today we do find out. And the Dolphins, they were probably looking for a roster spot anyway, because Cameron Good, outside linebacker, who's been elevated already 3 times, core special teamer at this point. So he's been a big part of Danny Crossman's group over there. So now that would probably open up a spot either for him or some other guys. Maybe also eventually, if you want to just sign Robbie Chosen to the active roster now with 2 wide receivers down, you can do that.
Yeah, no, listen, the question I have is, are these permanent things or they can come back?
Yeah, well, River Craycraft, I mean, it was an injury suffered in the game. I would think, yeah, he could come back probably after the injured reserve already puts him out 4 weeks. So give him his time, let him heal from that. And then the Ezukanma stuff, it's a little scary because we don't know too much at this point. So, and just the fact that it was something pre-existing that was there before, that leaves you slightly concerned for him. And he was just coming along too.
Yeah, man, he was looking good, and obviously still a young player with a future. What's the latest with Armstead and Connor Williams?
Yeah, Armstead said at his locker today after practice that he does expect to play. So he is officially listed as questionable. So I think that's just semantics. But Armstead said himself he's going to go. And then Connor Williams also was questionable with that groin injury. I know groins can linger a little bit. So we didn't have a similar affirmation from him that he would play after practice. But that's something to watch. And then if he can't go, it's going to be Liam Eichenberg again.
What were your thoughts on Liam Eichenberg's play when you watched the film?
Yeah, and I asked this question to Mike McDaniel himself, and then he said he stepped up, and I guess I could feel the same way. It wasn't anything that was spectacular. Some snaps that were a little bit errant, which you're going to get from Connor Williams anyway. But hey, he's playing.
By the way, he didn't look like the Liam Eichenberg we've gotten to know. He looked better.
Yeah. Well, even midway through last year, that was kind of the thing, is that when he was playing left guard, is that the staff really did honestly, genuinely feel that he was coming along before that first knee injury that put him out in that was October 30th, that late October Detroit game. And then it set him back for a while. And then
trust me, I know, because when he got injured, they were like, "Oh, he was coming around." I'm like, "Really? I didn't see it." And he goes, "They go to me. Trust me, you don't know what you're seeing."
I think it was kind of just that one game because even the week going into that, it was still, everyone was kind of down on him. I think myself as well. And Robert Jones filled in serviceably when that happened last year. So now they got Isaiah Wynn there at left guard. So, but Liam Eichenberg, that's how quickly it happens in the NFL. You're back in the fold now, dependent on whether Connor Williams can go or not.
And by the way, they were passionate about that shit last year. Like they got insulted when I said to them, like, really? He didn't look like he's made any You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're watching. He was turning the corner. I'm telling you, he was turning the corner. And so it's like, okay, all right.
One thing I've come to learn:
I'll
Is
take
that
your word for it. It's your job on the line, not mine. So I'll take your word for it. It's fine.
okay? You're talking about the coaching staff, yeah.
I'm talking about. I'm not saying only coaches. I'm just saying the people in the building. They were adamant. See, that's the reason why we all talked about offensive linemen, and then they were like, "What are you guys talking about? We're fine." You know what I mean? Like we were crapping on Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg. We were nervous as hell with those guys, and those guys, because they didn't deal with the first couple of years. All they dealt with was last year, and for them, they weren't ready to give up on those guys. And sure enough, Austin has paid off for them, and I got to give them a lot of credit because Liam, I thought, did a good job last week, dude. He played a lot last week, and I thought he did a good job overall. Was he dominant like Connor Williams is blocking? No. But he most of the time did his job. He blocked the guy he was supposed to, even moved up to the second level a couple times. I mean, he actually did I was really surprised with him, put it that way. Pleasantly surprised, obviously.
It goes back to when we spoke to General Manager Chris Greer, and he's like you said, he was the one that said, "You all seem to be a lot more worried about this offensive line than I am," were his words. So this is kind of what he was seeing, and what Mike McDaniel was sort of reporting to him as well. Because when I spoke to McDaniel in owners meetings, once you get through that first wave of free agency, and that was kind of one of the questions that I had for him. And he sort of said, hey, look, we really want to give these guys a second year, a second chance in the same offense. They hadn't had that through their first, in Austin Jackson's case, 3 seasons. And he lost really that third year in the new system. And then Liam Eichenberg's case, his first 2 years also impacted by injury midway through that second season. So they wanted to give them a chance in that second year of the same offense. He brought up Laken Tomlinson, who we had in San Francisco, who was a guy who came around that people were down on in a similar way, and then he became a Pro Bowler, got 2 contracts after that. So there are a lot of similar stories when offensive linemen have that continuity in the scheme. And then although they changed offensive line coaches, but Butch Berry has albeit that UM stint wasn't really good, and we all know how it went last year in Denver, but so far, really strong performance from him getting these guys ready up front.
Yeah, big time, man. We got to give all of them credit. Plus, I think they're all comfortable, too, most of them, except for Wynn. But all these guys, it's second year in the system, so you can tell everybody's much more comfortable. Jalen Phillips out. How serious is this oblique injury?
Yeah, if he's out and he didn't practice all week, then seems to be pretty serious. He was already dealing with the back before that, so sometimes kind of one thing could lead to another. So similar, in the middle body area. So that's concerning, and we'll have to monitor his status. We already know he's out this week, and then now just find out if next week he can begin some kind of practice regimen. But we all know he's a warrior, so he can and will get back on the field if he can. But the other side of it is Andrew Van Ginkel, another big opportunity for him, because we've really seen him step up the once when Jalen Phillips was out in New England, and then when he had to leave the last game in Denver. So AVG has been phenomenal, a revelation in the way he can now be versatile inside and outside this year in Vic Fangio's scheme. And then even when he goes back to that old edge guy that he's been since the Brian Flores era, then he has really paid dividends when he gets his opportunities.
By the way, I just saw here where Jordan Poyer is out for this game. So I don't really think they have the corners to hang with Miami's receivers. Now you're going to be missing one of your 2 safeties. That's where you're actually elite. That's where you're really good. You're not really good at corner as it is. Wow, that's really good news for Miami.
Yeah, and we all saw how the Broncos being down Justin Simmons in last week's game, right off the bat. What was it? 3rd play of the game, Tyreek Hill. It's because of a blown assignment by the guy filling in for Justin Simmons coming up to bite on Robbie Chosen's route. And then, although Tyreek Hill apparently ran the wrong route, but to everyone's advantage on the Dolphins, and Tua with some decent. A little
if you ran the wrong route and he still found you, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Vision.
Yeah. The anticipation that we always speak of.
something Jets fans are finding out Zach Wilson has none of: vision. You know what I mean? It's hilarious when you hear some idiot say, "Well, the line's doing the job, and these guys are so fast. Most guys can do this." No, most guys can't do what Tua's doing. No, 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 no. Stop underestimating throwing on time, on target, aggressive, small windows at times, stuff like that. No, 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 no. People don't do that normally. It's just that's hard to do. When people they think the next guy can do this. No, bro. No, 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 no. It's ridiculous.
And the key is the anticipation that he throws with, because oftentimes it is before that break even happens. So he's one step ahead. So the defender hasn't even reacted to the cut from the receiver, but Tua knows where the receiver's going, and even in this case, knows when he's going to go where he's not supposed to go, and then watches the whole play develop. Which also that requires good protection when you can go through that many reads in a progression and realize that a receiver is going to run the wrong route, and realize that wrong route is going to lead to a huge play where he's going to be wide open.
Right, exactly. And by the way, if you want I think my favorite anticipatory throw that he's made so far in the Dolphins uniform, it's his rookie year against Arizona. When he throws it opposite of where not Surtain, what's the name of the other corner that was there for a long time?
Patrick Peterson. Yeah,
that he knew Peterson was going to go in the inside, and he threw it to the outside of the receiver. Go look at that play; it's still the best. So, what do you got? What's your prediction?
Okay, what did I have? Oh, all right, Dolphins 31, Bills 30 was my prediction. So. A little bit of a shootout affair, very tight game, and I think I even wrote that I got a little specific with my prediction in the Sun Sentinel. I said Tua will lead one scoring drive. I don't know if it'll be a field goal or touchdown, but they'll take the lead with it, and then Josh Allen will have a turnover on his final chance.
Nice. I think the running game is going to be the key here, and I'm not talking about Miami because I'm expecting Miami to run and pass on them. Because last year they could do it with a line that wasn't healthy and they weren't really all in tune yet, and yet the coach, failed to continue and he gave up on it in that second game. I think they're going to be able to run, and I think they're going to be able to pass. But what I feel is you're going to have to stop their run, and specifically Josh Allen's run. You cannot allow him to start getting first downs. What you need to do is force him to beat you with his arm, and that's when he will be forced into that mistake you're talking about, because Josh Allen will make mistakes as long as you force him to be a passer on a consistent basis. If you allow him to get his legs involved in the game, that's when he's really dangerous, because he really can't do it all with his arm. He's not accurate enough to do it with his arm on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And then that's what has really plagued the Dolphins defense going back to last year. That a lot of the mobile quarterbacks, we saw what Justin Fields did, what Lamar Jackson did in that week 2 game. And then Josh Allen, of course, although they kind of contained him sort of in that playoff game. So some positive strides shown there. And then also forcing turnovers in that game that kept them in it while Skylar Thompson, third string quarterback, was playing in that kind of environment. So we'll see what Vic Fangio schemes up. So he's going to have to Josh Allen's always going to try to put you in conflict, and we'll see how much Allen is focusing coverage on Diggs, how much, whether he employs a spy on Allen, things like that.
I'm taking the points, and I'm betting the Dolphins on the money line. So we'll see what happens. Follow him on Twitter at David Feronis _. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. As always, my brother, thank you. Have a great weekend. We will talk post-game.
Likewise. Enjoy Vegas.
You got it. Always. Be good. There you go. David Feronis. We're talking about EJDconstruction.com. Miami Dolphins report. Call him 305-433-4843.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with David Feronis from the Sun Sentinel. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
All right. Yes. Oh, man. All right, what do we got here? Bill's going to try what the Patriots this year and Chargers last year did on defense. Miami will have to run, will have the run available all day. Only way right now to play Miami's offense is dive by the run. Either way, it doesn't really matter, and you're still going to be able to pass because once you run it enough, you will loosen it up, and then Tua will be able to find guys in the middle of the field, and he'll be able to, cause the damage he needs to do. In other words, against the Bills. So yeah, I agree with that. I hope we see Diggs screaming at Allen again. You might see a little bit of that. You never know. That could be the case. So Jalen Phillips is out with the oblique. Got to worry about that one. Connor Williams and Armstead looks like they're going to play. As Zukama and Craycraft have been placed on the IR. So you got that going on. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Why don't we? Alan Blanco and the great people in Hialeah at 980 West 22nd Street. Marlins and Pirates will be going on 3:35 p.m., which they're already well into it. I don't know what the score is, but Cabrera was on the mound. We got to check that out. By the way, the game yesterday against the Mets with 4 outs left was postponed with the Marlins leading 2-1. It'll be resumed on Monday at 1:10 if needed. If needed. You know the score? Oh, I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's a 6:35. I'm writing 3:35 because we're here. I'm getting confused. It hasn't started. It's at 6:35. I wrote 3:35, and I'm forgetting that I'm writing the West Coast, which I should not do that. Yeah, because you're West Coast on the phone now at this point. Yeah, exactly. So my bad. So 6:30, it'll be for the Pirates today. Yes. Green Bay, as we told you, take the Lions, give the points to the Packers yesterday. You would have won just like we did, 34-20. Jared Goff, 19 of 28, 210, a touchdown, an interception. And Mr. Love, 23 of 36, 246, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. What else? And then, of course, Dolphins and Bills on Sunday. We will have the pregame show for you starting off at 11 a.m. If you are in the Vegas area, we're going to be at Tommy Rockers on Sunday. All right? Tommy Rockers. So come on out and join us out there at Tommy Rockers here in Las Vegas. Vegas time, of course, 8 a.m., which is 11 a.m. there in the West Coast. All right? And then we are awaiting Safedine, and he can join us. And let's see. There we go. What else do we have? Yes? What happened? What happened? You got to tell me.
So it looks like the NFL and the NFLPA have agreed to following rules on players gambling.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
Okay.
I saw it. Read it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If you bet on an NFL game not involving your team, at least a 1-year suspension. If it involves your team, minimum 2-year suspension. Betting on non-NFL games and team facilities, 2 games for first violation, 6 games for second, at least 1 year for third. Attempting to fix games, banished from the NFL. Inside information and or tipping, minimum 1 year. Third party or proxy betting, minimum 1 year.
Okay.
No potting.
And don't be a potty mouth. Okay? Potty. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button, please. Always good to smash the hell out of the like button. It's very important that you smash the hell out of the like button. Yes, sir.
Not confirming anything or anything like that, but they're saying that DeMar Hamlin might get his first start with Poyer being out.
Yes, with Poyer out. Not that that's really a threat. I'm not really worried about DeMar Hamlin stopping the the Dolphins passing game, but good for him that he's able to play again, man. That's you don't want to you know be do what you love get taken away from you. You know what I'm saying? And if you're lucky enough, by the way, most people aren't Damar Hamlin or Sean Stanley or Orlando Alzagari, that you end up working a job that you actually love and that's what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? That's what he likes to do. That's what I like to do. This is why we're doing this. And we don't go to, get a real job or a regular job or anything you want to look at, because we love broadcasting. We love radio. We love sports. And it's kind of what we do, and that's what he gets to do. Worst thing is that gets taken away from you. And it's even worse for these kind of athletes. You know why? We get to do, and like, I'm in my 33rd year. What year is it for you now in this biz? 6. So 6 years. Now, well, you could still you could be in professional sports a lot longer than 6, but my point is, most of us, if you do a job that you love, you probably can do it a hell of a lot longer than an athlete can. That's a limited time of what, on average in the NFL it's 4 years. But let's say somebody lasts 10 or 12. I've done that 3 times over already now. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that it's a blessing if you're able to do what you love. And for it to be taken away from you, like Damar Hamlin, that would suck at such a young age. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy for him that he's able to take the field, and hopefully he never has any other setbacks again and has a phenomenal career. Although I hope he doesn't have a phenomenal game this week against the Dolphins. Yeah, not this week. Yeah. Damar, not this week. We don't need you this week to go out there and shine. Yeah, whenever you're not playing the Fins. Exactly. That would be about the perfect time. Let's see. There are a couple of QBs in the league that can run this offense the way Tua does. And by a couple, I mean Mahomes. Let's be honest. Let's look. Who would I tell you could maybe do? Aaron Rodgers would be another guy. Although if he likes to hold on to the ball, then no, it won't work for him in this offense. But he has the accuracy to easily do it. Okay, even though it's not really his game, and that's probably why he got injured this past time around. It's because it's not his game to get rid of it quickly. He likes kind of holding on and trying to make a bigger play. But I would say if Aaron Rodgers wanted to play the game that way, I would go Mahomes and Rodgers for sure. Okay, Josh Allen can't do it. Mac Jones can't do it. Zach Wilson definitely will never be able to do it. I don't think Kenny Pickett at this moment is ready to do it. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson with 8 arms and dreaming can't do it. Definitely. What's it called? The fool with the Browns. What's his name? Deshaun Watson can't do it for sure. Joe Burrow can do it. So you've got Mahomes, Burrow, and Rodgers. Colts don't have one. Texans don't have one. I'm going to say no with Trevor Lawrence. Tannehill. Yeah, he can definitely do it. Garoppolo, no. Definitely not Justin Herbert. Denver Broncos, no, definitely not. Russell Wilson. Definitely not the Eagles. There's no way Hurts can do it. Dak Prescott cannot do it. Washington can't do it. Giants can't do it. Lions can't do it. Packers can't do it. Vikings, no. Bears, no. Falcons, no. Saints, no. Bucks, no. Panthers, no. San Fran, no. No. I don't think so. Not this quickly. Not this quickly. Seattle, Los Angeles, and then the Cardinals. Yeah. No. Huh? Dobbs? Yeah. Oh, that's right. No, yeah, that's right. No, Poupart thinks he can do it. So yeah, that's true. Yeah, if Poupart thinks that Bridgewater can do what Tua does, then yeah, I would go with that. That's pretty good. I would go with that one. That's not bad. You know. Hold on, I'm sorry.
A big day for wrestling fans, by the way, or for me, anyways.
Why?
Kayfabe is now in the dictionary. It has now been added to the Merriam-Webster dictionary. They added the famous pro wrestling term amongst the 690 new words. It is a noun.
Right.
The agreement between professional wrestlers and their fans to pretend that overtly staged wrestling events, stories, characters, etc., are genuine.
Okay.
Kayfabe, baby, we're there.
Oh, there we go. All right. I like it. I like it. All right, let's do it. Safedine is ready to go. Let's talk a little Miami Dolphins with our BaptistHealth.net/ortho. Miami Dolphins report.
Let's get the latest from the Aqua and Orange with our Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Dolphins report with USA Today insider Safed Dean. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net. Here's Safed Dean.
All right, all right, all right. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. That is Safed Dean. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
I'm good, Big O. That chicken noodle soup looked amazing. You got to bring some back.
Okay.
I'm hoping you're having a great time in Vegas. Always a good time. Whenever you do make it over there.
If you ever come to Vegas and if you're staying at the MGM Grand, Wolfgang Puck, I'm telling you, bro, go try that chicken soup. Every time I come to Vegas, doesn't matter where I'm staying in New York this time. We're working at MGM today, so it allows me. I'm right here.
That's perfect.
I'm telling you, dude. I've been having that soup for nearly 20 years at that Wolfgang Puck.
How is your if you do any drinking after the chicken noodle soup, does it save you? Does it preserve you a little bit more?
I don't drink.
Feel like
I don't drink.
Okay, cool.
I'm not a drinker, so I have 4 or 5 drinks in a year, bro. I don't really have a lot of drinks.
I feel like that would be an amazing hangover cure for people in Vegas.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. I never have hangovers, so I don't know.
Hey, more power to you.
I haven't had that feeling in a long, long time.
More power to you, man.
In fact, I did. The last time was here in Vegas. And it was, man, God, it must have been 15 years ago.
Wow.
Easily 15 years ago. And it was fun because Cafe Moderanos was still open in the Rio. I don't know if you remember Cafe Moderanos in the Rio. And so it was all the way in the back. And I was here hanging out with the Rocky Patel family.
Okay.
And so Rocky Patel has all their stuff over in the West Coast of Florida. And so Nimish and all these guys, they were over there, and I went to hang out with them at and I can say this now, at Cafe Moderano, because it's no longer there. So it's about 1:00 in the morning. And so Rock goes over and asks the owner or the manager, says, "Hey, you mind if we light up some cigars here?" There was nobody in the restaurant anymore except a couple. So he walks over to the couple and he says, "Do you mind if we smoke?" And they said, "No, you can't smoke inside a restaurant." But they have a sunroof on that restaurant. I'm not kidding you, like a bubble sunroof.
Yeah.
And that thing automatically opened up. And so all of a sudden now and it's like smoking, and I swear I must have drank 2 bottles of Pinot Noir.
Good choice.
La Crema, Pinot Noir, my favorite wine. And I was high as a kite, man. I was high as a kite. And the worst part was, in those days, I was working the morning shift at QAM. I started at 5 a.m.
Oh. So you're going straight from the club to sitting down in your chair at Radio Row or wherever you were.
No, it was in my hotel where I was doing the show from. It was in the lobby from that hotel where I was staying at. But the thing was, I got on the phone drunk, and I called Jesse Agler, who is now the voice over at the Padres. And I called him, and he was the producer. And I said, "Dude, you got to fill in for me today, bro. I,
A 5
I have
a.m.
drank
call.
too much, bro. I cannot do this thing. It's 1 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock over there. You
Of
know,
course, yeah.
like
Time gets away
1:40.
from you there.
I'm looking at him 1:40. I go, oh my god, I'm on in 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Vegas, man, I haven't been in Vegas in probably about 5 years, and then before that, it was 5 years too. 2 bachelor parties, Palazzo. That's my favorite place to stay.
Oh,
I think they got the biggest rooms in
that sports
Vegas.
book, that sports book in the Palazzo with the stadium seating and the
I got to
cage.
check it out now.
Oh shit, that is a badass sports book in the Palazzo, bro.
Yeah, man.
Badass sports book, man. That is a really, really good sports book, man.
I got to
And
come
by
back out
the
to
way,
Vegas.
you'll be in Vegas soon.
Will I?
Yeah.
Maybe. Hopefully,
No.
we'll see.
What kind of maybes is that, bro?
We'll see. Super Bowl's around the corner.
Exactly, and the Dolphins are going to be in
Yeah.
that Super Bowl, barring the injuries that last year derailed their season. Okay?
Yeah.
Remember, you are talking to the guy that predicted Chris Greer, right?
Sure.
You are talking to the guy that said Tua will be the guy, right? So, you are talking to the guy that said Messi would be here. I told everybody in the offseason, buy season tickets. Messi's coming. So,
Hey, from your mouth to God's ears, Big O.
I'm just saying, did I not say Flo was getting fired during a winning streak?
What you say about Dame Lillard? Was Dame Lillard coming here, Big O? Did you say that?
Yeah, I thought he was.
Didn't we all? We got tricked, bamboozled.
I didn't know Dame was that soft, bro.
We got bamboozled by the Blazers. Yeah, for sure.
No, it wasn't Blazers. We got bamboozled by Dame. He didn't play hardball, bro. I was very, very disappointed that he didn't fight for his rights, like the Beastie Boys would say.
I know, man. He's supposed to be some kind of battle rapper too, dude. That was really soft on his end. To go back and be like, nah, I don't want to trade. Get out of here, man.
Yeah, bro. That was soft on his ass. All right.
Luka 2026. Luka 2026. That's the vision.
All right. That's the next whale. Yeah, but by then, Butler's on a walk.
That's fine. That's fine. You'll have everybody else. I mean, he's the next star. That's it. You build around him. You don't worry. This is the wave. The next wave.
But we need to get 2 stars, not 1. Then at that point, we're gonna need another star there, bro.
Nah, Bam will still be a good star at 31. Keep Bam, put Luke out there. That'd be a good 1-2.
How concerned are you about Jalen Phillips' oblique injury?
To be honest, I'm not sure how big. I'm not sure how severe it is. But for him to be out 2 games is something. He was dealing with a back injury a little bit earlier as well. It's a tricky muscle, man. And Jalen Phillips is a man of many muscles. I'll tell you that much. But if he can't go, he's obviously not going to go. He's obviously one of those players that will go if he can. So this probably is, serious enough of a strain, which sucks because Jalen Phillips is, one of their best edge rushers. You want him on the field when you play Buffalo, that's for sure, coming up this week. But this is more of a opportunity for Bradley Chubb to really step up to the plate. Christian Wilkins has to do his thing against this that offensive line, and Andrew Van Ginkel has to continue playing like he has been playing. Hopefully, you get a contribution here too from Agba. But that's kind of my big concern for Buffalo offensively. If they didn't take out Van Ginkel and Agba from this game, then you're kind of just really relying a lot on Wilkins and Chubb, and you're not sure what you can get from Chubb at sometimes. And you know what Wilkins is going to do. For me, it's a big game for Javon Holland too. Javon Holland's got to man that back end out, help out Xavier with Stephon Diggs, and I think the Dolphins can keep Josh Allen in front of them a decent amount, not as much, but a decent amount. This should be able to be okay.
Yeah, no, for me that's the key. Shut him out in the run. I don't think he is accurate enough for 4 quarters that he can beat you with his arm. He can make some plays because he'll make plays because he does that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you can force him into mistakes. And that's what I think you need to do with Josh Allen. But once you can let those legs go, you're done. If you allow him to run, it's over, bro. You cannot do that with him. You got to pull him.
Some of the last couple games too, the Dolphins have had, they've allowed Josh Allen to kind of get into hero ball mode, and that's the best mode that you can play him against because he's bound to mess up. He's bound to turn the ball over. If he's
Right.
not fumbling, he's going to throw a pick. So, they got to be opportunistic. But if there's one team, one defense that knows how to play this guy, it's got to be Miami because they've seen him so much.
The Ezukama injury kind of looks like it's something that snuck up on them from his college days, huh?
Yeah, that's what I heard from Mike McDaniel today. I don't know more of that. I wouldn't speculate any more on that.
Of course.
When you go on the non-football injury list, it's probably something a little bit more serious than what something is a football injury.
Right.
But it is disappointing because this is year 2. He seemed to have a role. Not disappointing, excuse me, but unfortunate for him because he did seem to have a role carved out in the offense where he was running the ball a little bit. So that kind of takes away some plays from the playbook for sure. Wonder if you have anybody else to run those kind of plays because we didn't really see it much last year. But the offense will roll on, and we'll see how long this does keep him out. But I will be looking into trying to learn a little bit more about what's going on in that front.
Yeah, and Craycraft can still be activated, correct? Because I asked for Onistan. It looks like he can still be activated, correct?
I think if you go on, it depends if they put him on short term or if they just put him on IR. I don't know the rules all the way from the back of my head, but I know short term IR is 4 games. You have to be out a minimum of 4 games, and then you have a window to come back. So I don't know if this is like they put him on IR for a game or 2 and he comes back. So this might be a little bit more extended than short term.
Okay. Running back wise, what do we know about the 2 guys that were out?
Savon Ahmed is questionable, which is good, but not great because he has a groin injury. And I would worry about Jeff Wilson hasn't even come back yet. So
yeah, he's not due till after this game, right?
Yeah, I believe so because it was out. This is week 4, so sure after. Maybe he's out longer. Who knows? But what you have with Mostert and A-Chain showed pretty well last week against Denver and Brooks too. Brooks is, we talked about Brooks a lot. One of my favorite guys on the team during the preseason. He looks like he. So those 3 guys are going to be the ones that are going to have to shoulder the load. I think this is going to be a game where you see a lot more balance than Tua just kind of letting it fly. I think last week they really learned how much they can do with the run and how they can kind of really slow a defense down like that. This is going to be a big test, this week. Sure, these guys have seen each other a lot before, but it's up to them to really put it together. For me, Tua kind of named Teron Johnson, the safety, that's their nickel guy, during his press conference this week. That guy's going to have to play a big role because I believe it's Jordan Poyer is going to be out for this game with an injury. And then supposedly DeMar Hamlin could play his first game of the season because of that lack of depth. So, if I'm Tua, once you're inside the 40-yard line, look deep because you have a chance to beat those secondary guys. Tyreek's going to be running really wild in this game, I think. So with one of those safeties out, whether it's Poyer or Hyde, they are a little bit more softer on the back end. And so I can definitely see some deep passes for sure.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. Look, first of all, I think they can abuse their corners. I think Miami's receivers, especially now you get Waddle back.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, those 2 guys you're going to tear them apart. But you have to hold – you have to restrain yourself a little bit more because you do need to punish them with the run in this game. Why? Because you want to limit the possessions that Buffalo has. So that way, when they do make mistakes, they become even more magnified because you don't have as many possessions. And if you can somehow take a lead and control the ground game, oh, man, you really put them behind the 8 ball in a big-time way. And then that's when you put Josh in a position where he has to now, start slinging it all over the place. And here's where the mistakes come.
Mm-hmm.
Running game for me is everything. And kudos to the coach because last year you were averaging 22 yards a carry. You're up to 31 now. And in game 1, it didn't look like they were going to commit to the run as much. But again, I'll stick to my guns on that one. That was a personal game. That was an ego game by Mike McDaniel. He wanted to pass the hell out of the ball in the middle of the field. He wanted to send a message. But I think what we've seen the last 2 weeks is what we're going to see on Sunday, correct?
I could see a message being sent by Tua on Sunday too, Big O. I mean, look, this secondary is They can't keep up with the Dolphins, man.
No.
Tre'Davious White didn't practice all week. He's going to be starting against Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. No, not happening, man. Jordan Poyer's, like I said, is going to be out. Micah Hyde can't do nothing for those guys back there. Teron Johnson's probably going to be one of their best defenders. I believe they had like a first-round pick that's not even playing or wasn't even playing much. A corner from down here too. So I haven't really checked out the Bills as much defensively. I have seen them
their
a little
drafts
bit.
the last couple of years have not hit. Actually, they haven't.
Yeah, man.
Drafts.
I mean, I feel bad if Damar Hamlin's first game. I mean, last year Jalen Waddle was running right past him every game they played.
Yeah.
So good luck to him in his first game coming back. But as much as they do need to run the ball, I think you said the game plan essentially was great. Run the ball so you can keep the ball away from Josh Allen's hands. But I don't think the secondary can hold up with these guys. So I can definitely see the Dolphins kind of letting it fly a little bit too.
You kind of feel that the torches might be passed this weekend?
It better be. It better be. The Dolphins are trending upward in an amazing fashion, especially coming off that 70-point win. When you see how Tua is kind of taking his game to another level, I wrote this in a story for USA Today, so you guys please go check that out. But Tua's in another mode, man. That's what Jalen Waddle told me. That's what Teron Armstead told me. That's what Duke Riley told me, some of his close friends in the locker room. Robert Hunt was really great too. He says, he's thriving right now and it's contagious for everybody else. Tua is ascending right now. He's in year 2 of the same offense, probably for the first time since he was in college, where, it might have a different coordinator, but the scheme is still the same. This is same coach, same coordinator, same offense. And Robert Hunt told me this mission kind of began with them in April when they first started meeting, during the offseason. It takes so much to move 11 guys in unison, like the Dolphins have done with certain possessions that they play offensively, man. And Tua's the orchestrator back there, man. He's the point guard, not the point guard, the point guard out there. And this is going to be a very eye-opening game for the AFC East. We're going to see if the Dolphins really took the next step or not. We're going to see if the Bills took a step back or not. We're going to see whose division this is going to be, potentially. I'm sure there's plenty of season left to play, and it's never too early to think about playoffs and this and that. All of this is going to be coming to the light on Sunday, so we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we get the. I think the torch is being passed here this week, and I really do. I'm betting the Dolphins money line, and I'm taking the points. I just think
good bets.
I think they're the better team now. I really do. I know that the Bills have been the team in the division the last couple of years, and they deserve it. I just think kind of things are finally turning, and I think the Dolphins have a team now that they haven't had in over 25 years, bro. They haven't had a team like this since the early 90s, to be quite honest. And this will be better than the early 90s teams because this team can actually run and defend. And that's the other thing that I'm interested, the depth has actually shown up a lot on this team, from receivers to corners to offensive linemen to defensive ends, pass rushers.
Mm-hmm.
You've needed depth. Did I mention running backs? You've needed depth in many places already in just 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins aren't only proving that they've got a good starting unit, they're also proving now that they've got some guys that are coming off the bench, whether you're a Kendall Lamb or whether you're an AVG or you're a Chris Brooks, and you're coming off the bench. And look at Julian Hill, got a lot of reps last week. Looks to me like they're really encouraged and trying to get him involved. Just seems like you're covering a team that is probably the best starting team you've covered for the Dolphins, and they actually have people that can come off the bench and do a very respectable job.
Yeah, to your point that you just said about a different starting team, I've covered the Dolphins 3-0 a couple times. They did it last year. They did it like during one of Gase's years when I first started covering. You're wondering, there's no way they're going to keep this up. When is it going to, fall? How does it fall? And then you're going to see how bad they fall or how they kind of respond and what's going to happen. This team hasn't made the playoffs in a couple. Before that, last year was 3 times in 21 years that they made the playoffs. So it was very much more of the same than a new day here in Miami, like we have seen and been really boastful about, man. It's exciting. It's good for business. But more than anything, man, it's a crazy feeling watching this Dolphins team because of the fact that they're kind of in every game that they're in, right? Like that Chargers game reminded me of the Ravens game a year before that, where everybody kind of has the tenacity to not worry about the scoreboard, not worry about a deficit. There's still time on the clock, even if it's a seconds left before halftime. Mike McDaniel is going to try to squeeze 3 points out of something if he can. And even when this team is down and Tua is wheeling and dealing, it looks like they're going to score. They're going to score. Everybody on the field knows they're going to score. And when they do, it's like, okay, they're delivering. And that's a new feeling for Dolphins fans. So this is a big test on Sunday, man. The Bills have been a thorn in their side. Everybody knows how, in this matchup, everybody knows how it's been. And it's up to the Dolphins to show that it can change and how it's going to be, with their new team this year.
Amen. What do you got going on at USA Today, my friends, so Dolphins and NFL fans can check you out?
Yeah, definitely. I'll be, like I said, I had a tour story out this morning. Big Ounce mode. That's what Jalen Waddle told me. Tua Tagovailoa's new mode is that he's in this stage of his career. Had some really great conversations. I made sure I put that in the story as well. It's a football podcast dropping next Tuesday. And also, I'll be keeping an eye on Messi, man. Still day to day, game to game. That's a conversation for another day, man. I'm not sure if he's going to come back unless they make the playoffs, Big O. Without him, I think he can come back in the playoffs, but I don't think he's going to play on Saturday. He's not going to play in any other road games, and luckily for Inter Miami, all these games are at home. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think he plays. I'm with you. We had Michelle Kaufman on earlier. I don't think he plays for the rest of the season. And then if they make the playoffs and he's fully healthy, then he'll play. But I don't think that. And I talked to Michelle about this. And they're going to have to balance this out because next year they're going to have several tournaments, the MLS season, and international responsibilities for all the players.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to have the same kind of demands next year. You're going to need to balance this roster out a little bit better. And as Tata, you're going to have to. There are going to be games that you're just going to have to say, Messi, you can't play, bro. We just can't. We cannot play you, and we can't be in the same position. So this year will prepare them a little bit for next year. That you're going to include Copa America and all kinds of other things that are going to go on.
Champions League, right? That's the Champions League that they're in.
No, Copa America is different, and Champions League's different, and then you've got the Leagues Cup, and then you've got the U.S. Open Cup, and you've got the MLS season, and you've got bro. It's just there's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah,
it's just
that's a long season.
It's way too much. And listen, a lot of teams. If I really would have liked for them to win the U.S. Open Cup, so next year they do what a lot of other teams do. They don't even take it serious, and they play their backups in the U.S. Open Cups.
Yeah.
And that's probably what they're going to have to do next year. Michelle had a very good point. The Leagues Cup is under Apple. The U.S. Open Cup is not under Apple. So I would imagine
that makes a lot of sense. Because it's Apple, they had to ball out, right? But even if they lost, like if they would have lost one of those Leagues Cup games, like Messi would have not played, right? They would have went back to the MLS schedule, and who knows, would have been great in the world. But we'll see, man. Next year, like you said, it's okay to look ahead. Hopefully, you guys had season tickets before or didn't have it, or maybe good luck with that because that was a big deal yesterday. I'm sure for sure.
Michelle's husband, Dave Barry, obviously legend in our freaking business. Dave, his tickets went from like 33 or 3,400 to like 7,000.
Hey man, you'll be able to make some of that money back, maybe for a game or two. Who knows? Woo! I doubt it, but the tickets just went incredible. It's Real Madrid, Barcelona, like all those teams that are they've Inter Miami has more expensive tickets now.
Yeah, well, hey, bro, you want Messi? You want Alba? You want Busquets? You want Gomez? You want what was the other young kid? Those three young kids all cost millions, bro.
Yeah, they got to make the money.
Yeah,
Okay,
dude.
imagine all the teams on the road, man, that they're gonna go travel and play, and people are gonna be complaining if Messi doesn't play. It's
Right.
already happened, and could happen again, man.
No doubt. All right, follow him on Twitter at Safed_Dean. And of course, catch his work at the USA Today. Safed, as always, appreciate you. We will talk post game, my friend, on Sunday.
Yes, we will. Enjoy Vegas.
Always. Be good.
You
Enjoy you too tonight. Yeah. Later, buddy. There we go. Safed Dean getting it done. Our Baptist Health of South Florida, our BaptistHealth.net/ortho. Miami Dolphins report. And don't forget, folks, Baptist Health Orthopedic Care is led by renowned Chief Medical Executive John Uribe, and it combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot, ankle, and trauma, joint replacement, spine, hand, and sports medicine care. Visit BaptistHealth.net/ortho for more information.
The Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Dolphins report with insider Safed Dean is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net.
All right. Let's go to a little B-days, a little birthdays today. Halsey, the pop singer, is 29. Kevin Durant is 35 years old today. Let's see. Julian Baker, rock singer, is 28. No idea who he is and what band he sings for. But I guess I mentioned it. What the hell? Zach Levi, TV actor, is 43. Jerry Lee Lewis was born on this date in 1935, passed away recently in 2022. Lauren James, soccer player, is 22 years old. Calvin Johnson, former NFL player, 38 years old. Devonta Swing, the music producer, is 45. Let's birthdays today. Ian McShane, movie actor, is 81. He's the guy from John Wick. He's the guy. He's the one that runs the hotel, the Continental. That's Ian McShane. Just in case, for those of you that know the face, but you didn't know the name, right? Now you know. Now you know. He's 81, bro. Still working. Good for him, bro. Good for him. Les Claypool, the best bassist in the world, arguably, is 60 years old. Bum Phillips, born on this date in 23. We lost him in 2013. And he famously said of Shula, he can beat his All right. I think we're back. Give me a thumbs up there on the chat board if you guys got me. Technical snafu. I don't know what the hell happened, but it happens. You know what I mean? All right. Let's get to a little rock history, a little music history. Back in '67, on this date, Mickey Hart joined the Grateful Dead. On this date, back in 1989, at a concert in L.A., Glenn Frey joined Don Henley on stage for the first time since the Eagles last played together 9 years earlier. In 1989, on this day, Bruce Springsteen stopped in a small saloon in Prescott, Arizona, where he played songs with the house band and donated $100,000 to the bartender, whom he overheard talking about financial problems from medical bills. Wow, that's pretty cool. In 91, Metallica kicked off their 138 date Whenever We Roam world tour in Peoria, Illinois. In 86, on this date, Iron Maiden released their 6th studio album, Somewhere in Time. In 2009, Alice in Chains released Black Gives Way to Blue, their first album without singer Lane Staley, who passed away in 2002. And in 2012, the Lumineers began a run of 18 non-consecutive weeks at #1 on the rock charts with their song Hey Ho, or Ho Hey. Hey Ho sounds better. Hey Ho, what you got? Oh man. All right. Yes, that was what happened today in music history, baby. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where he can be his'n with your'n and your'n with his'ns. That's how it is. Since Big O is out, what do you guys want to talk about? Oh, that is awesome. Yeah, I know. Folks, we appreciate all of you out there. Thank you for hanging in there as always. We might do a little something tomorrow afternoon, a little short show. Give you a little recap of what went on in YouTube. You tune in tonight on social media at Big O Radio Show, at Big O Show, because we'll be over there with you too, rocking and rolling. We thank Anthony Chang. We thank Michelle Kaufman. We thank David Feronis. Sept. Yeah. Safedine also. Let's see who else did we have today? Who did? Safed, David, Koff, and Chang. That's it, right? We good. All right. We thank all of you out there as always. We thank the man, the myth, the legend that is Sean Stanley getting it done. We will see you tomorrow, and I will go see you two tonight. Y'all be good out there. Much love. Stay safe.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.